Welcome to another weekly episode of Marked Out Radio. We are the premier podcast focused on the hobby of collecting autographs and photo ops from celebrities. We talk about autograph conventions, on-the-street encounters, and everything else about the hobby. I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And there was not too much time for combo hunting this week because you, my friend, are about to head out on vacation.
This is against my religion. I'm traveling for something other than combos. What the hell's going on?
I really don't understand. You're doing more traveling this summer, I think, than you've ever done in your life, pretty much, right?
Yeah, 3 flights in a matter of what, like 6-7 weeks, I think, something like that. And that's not even counting the return flights. You could double it, so 6 flights.
And of course, right before we got on the air, you let me know that your flight leaves you have to leave for the airport in about 5 hours, and you have not packed yet.
No, I haven't even ripped the tags off my luggage, my new luggage that I got.
So you bought new luggage.
I didn't have a big bag. For the actual checked bag. I didn't have one.
Did you buy TSA approved locks for the bag?
No.
Okay. Let's walk it through the things that it's all right. I'm not big on locking bags anyway, because the bottom line is if someone wants in the bag, they're going to get in the bag, right?
Yeah.
What is a lock going to do? But the whole not packing, because you do I'm telling you now, for an international flight, you have to be at the airport at least 2 hours before.
I'm aiming for 3.5 early, just to have. I get anxious. My anxiety for this one is that the Uber is gonna cancel right in the 11th hour, which I imagine as an Uber driver, the late night airport run when there's no traffic is probably about as golden of an oasis as you get, and they wouldn't give
Wait,
that
you
up for
scheduled an Uber in advance?
I know that's probably not good for the price, but I just wanted it done. I don't want to have to.
They hose you on the price for those. They hose you. So that's one of those. Yeah, the more you do it, you realize there's no benefit because they don't actually assign you what really one anyway. I've done that spiel where you reserve one in advance, and the one they reserve cancels at the last second. They get a new one anyway. You don't live out in the sticks. You'll have a driver. Fear not. So yeah, you're worried about. You were just telling me right before we started. You were worried about having cash in hand and credit cards, and so now I got to ask certain questions. As I mean, you're not an internationally seasoned traveler. I'm a pretty internationally seasoned traveler. Have you verified that whether or not your credit card charges international transaction fees?
I do not, which is why I brought cash. I think I have enough cash to cover me for anything I'm going to do.
Do they take US dollars?
From what ChatGPT tells me, yes. So I'm assuming.
So you got to be careful because in a place like Jamaica, where the shall we say the rules of the street are not necessarily the rules of the books, they'll often give you a very, very unfavorable exchange rate. Keep that in mind. That it may actually be more fortuitous to use a credit card. You have an Apple Card, right?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure the Apple Card does not charge international transaction fees. So you may have lucked into being able to use the Apple Card, just FYI. I'm pretty sure, but you can double check that.
I didn't even know that was a thing, international I mean, it makes sense, but I wasn't aware.
Oh yeah. So all right. So pro tip, if you are, first of all, verify that your Apple Card does not charge international transaction fees. That's number one. I'm pretty confident it doesn't. If it does not, when you get charged when you use the card, ask them to charge you in the local currency. So if they charge you in the local currency, then they will not charge you a transaction fee. If you ask them to do a conversion, the conversion is often done at a very, very unfavorable rate. If you have them do the transaction in the local currency, then you'll rely on your bank to do the conversion, and your bank locally doing the conversion will more likely be at a more favorable rate.
Okay, that definitely sounds logical. And ChatGPT. ChatGPT told me exactly what you were telling me as you were telling me it. Choose Jamaican dollars at the terminal S.
Yes, because that this way you're not relying on them to do the conversion, because they'll find every angle to make money on you. That's how it goes. Also, Jamaica is a very, very bargain heavy environment. You know that, right?
Yes.
Never pay sticker for anything. Immediately go for a 50% or more discount. Don't put your wallet in your back pocket. I'm a back pocket wallet guy. Are you?
I don't even own a wallet.
Well, how are you going to put your documents and stuff?
Fanny pack, bro.
Oh my God.
I'm
very careful with the...
I'm making Jamaican towns, brother.
You got to be careful with the fanny pack. It's one clip and they can pop it right off, right? It's a pickpocket friendly country. You know that, right?
Yes.
So you got to be particularly savvy about keep one hand on the fanny. You really going to use a fanny pack?
I do it with the crossbody. That's where the passport will be. That's where the money will be. I mean, in case, hopefully none of the people in Jamaica that might want to rob me are listening to this podcast. Unless
you absolutely need the passport, when you get to the resort, put it in the resort safe.
Yes, that was my plan.
And then walk around with your driver's license, because your U.S. driver's license is good for most types of identification, or will be good for most of identification, just not to get on the airplane. You need the passport to get on the airplane, so that goes in the safe. And always try to keep some money or at least one credit card in the safe, just in case you get robbed. You at least have that as your emergency backup.
Look at all this knowledge you're dropping to for anyone out there that wants to travel internationally for combos, or perhaps just vacation like I'm doing now, which still seems pretty weird. But
a hypothetical situation: you land in Jamaica and you hear about an opportunity to pursue combos. Do you, or do you like force yourself not to?
I find out Jay-Z and Beyonce are at an adjoining resort. I'll never turn down a chance for combos, but something tells me this will be a combo-free journey and excursion.
There you go. And what's your time? Because by the time we finish recording this, it'll probably be between 8:30 and 9 o'clock at night. And what are you just going to race and immediately start packing?
Start packing, eat dinner, then I guess attempt to sleep for like 2 hours just for the hell of it. I imagine I'll sleep on the plane. I'll be loading the iPad up with movies, but I really should sleep, so I have to force myself to sleep.
The flight's not that long, right?
No, 4 hours.
4 hours is nothing. You just sleep through it.
I mean, I like to be awake and see the sights and sounds, but I mean, my wife booked the window seat for herself.
2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I mean, it's 6:30 is when we're taking off, so I can see why. I could see things. But I don't have the window seat, so I'll probably
just FYI, if it's an early morning flight and you have the windows open, the people around you will start yelling. It's generally considered like something you don't do.
Because it's a flight to Jamaica, I might get yelled at in Patois. I'll feel like I'm home with my wife.
Hopefully, yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it should be. It's funny because you start doing it enough times and these things kind of become old hat. Anyway, you guys, so let's get this show rolling along so we can end at a reasonable hour and then you can go to bed. You might say I added something to the board engagement thing. I didn't realize, I got to be honest, I didn't realize that I've been using this saying now, I guess periodically on the board about yucking yums, or I didn't want to yuck your yum, that this is not an expression that is known commonly to a bunch of our marked out patrons.
No, I even asked my mom. I felt like she was a yum yucker that would be aware of the phrase, and she's like, "What the hell is that?" She didn't know it. Star didn't know it. I didn't know it. A lot of our listeners didn't know it. I'm convinced you invented this phrase.
You didn't think Google it and see that there's actually a whole wiki entry on it and stuff?
No, I'd rather have a human element and speak to people.
Yeah, I mean it's an expression. I never really was a big user of it, and one of my friends started using it, and I kind of, it has a nice sound to it, so I adopted it. I also, as a general rule, I'm kind of a yum yucker. I do, when people say they like something that I don't like, my gut reaction is to immediately give my opinion when it was not solicited or warranted. And so I've been really trying as a human being to like curb that impulse, you know? So that's why, like, because I've had a few conversations with people who are like, why do you have to yuck my yum? And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I shouldn't have said that. So I've kind of tried to curb that. And so I'm always thinking about when I have, especially on here, I tend to give a lot of negative opinions on here. And so I find myself yucking yums, it was I believe it was in the context of, was it making fun of someone's autograph or photo op or something or other? I don't even remember, but
maybe both.
It could have very well been both. I mean, the odds are at some point or another in a given week, I will do that. So yeah, you never heard, are you going to start using it?
I'm going to introduce it in Jamaica, I think.
Maybe they'll add a Jamaican twist to it.
They might. But you guys have heard it here first. You've heard it here first. We're going to be creating a T-shirt that says "Yucking Yums" since whatever the hell year we started. I guess 2024. I suppose probably.
What that's collectible. I mean, you mean the radio station or marked out the original
radio? And
that because really you can go back to 2008 originally.
True, we did yuck yums back then. I think we
were yucking yums. Like really, we were doing a lot of yucking of yums.
We yucked Big Blue's yums until he was on the brink of suicide several times.
We haven't talked about the fact that a board member reached out to Blue to ask him to join the group, and I guess his claim was he didn't have enough time. He was too busy, huh?
He's way too busy. Too busy with hookers and deli meat, and hookers who look like they are carrying deli meat.
Hookers who look like they're made of deli meat.
But he claims he's going to do it eventually.
Oh, God. What's funny is that we really ask for all of the problems we bring upon ourselves, because if you remember, like, dealing with him and all the shenanigans with these people and fighting and stuff, it was such a headache. All the fighting, it really became a headache. And now, we're kind of in a peaceable time right now. There's really not a lot of, it's pretty peaceful. There's not a lot of stuff, not a lot of drama going on aside from the occasional limited adult, Facebook DM. And so the fact that we're trying to introduce this chaos again, it really is totally irrational.
I was close to sending Blue a friend request the other night, and then I realized that was insane because it would open up the floodgate of messages nonstop.
Yeah, at that point, you're on your own.
Yeah.
Although what tends to happen in the little marked out world is that you will start engaging with someone who's like a stranger pretty much. You'll kind of taper off with your engagement. They want to continue the engagement. And then so what do? They pivot to me. And so I get some of your overflow because you communicate with like dozens of people in the hobby a day. I communicate with like somewhere between 0 and 1, not counting you, every day. I would say some fraction between 0 and 1. And so I do catch some of your overflow. I catch some of your strays,
You're going to catch all of it while I'm out of the country. I'm setting up an AOL instant messenger level away message. I am out of town. Message
I'm out of the office. Yeah, something like that on Facebook. Facebook doesn't offer such features, but no, I do catch some overflow there. And it's like, I don't mind some of it and some of these people, but I could tell like when certain ones, when you stop responding, then I catch the overflow. It's like, shit. What did I do to deserve this? I'm usually pretty good about kind of inoculating.
You started a podcast and you speak to the listeners every week, and of course they're gonna want their yums yucked off the air, so they gotta reach out to you. Yeah.
So anyway, speaking of board engagement and engagement with our listeners, New York Comic-Con released some guidelines for interactions with in photo ops. I think it was for Nic Cage, but then apparently it's for all photo ops. Is that right?
It appears to be, but it may just be as we know from people who sort of poorly edit a website, where a lot of things are just sort of copied and duplicated, and you kind of go from one thing and it all just carries over. I don't know if it was a intentional thing to be all, but it was last I checked. While you're speaking, I will double check now just to make sure they didn't change anything.
So let's talk about it. So Epic Photo Ops /Leap state that guests taking photos with talent may not wear clothing with signage or hold items including signs, posters, or props during photo ops.
It's just Nic Cage. It's just Nic Cage of what I'm clicking on right now.
Okay. So let's talk about it, because I mean, it's kind of been a thing for people to bring props into photo ops. That's like super common. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, thank God they didn't do this years ago. Ira never would have gotten engaged or whatever he was doing with that sign.
Oh, dear God.
Remember that? What did it say? What did the sign say?
I
would
don't
say
know, because if you remember, it was written with such a pen you couldn't see it once the photo was taken.
he was with Jen. So I don't think he didn't propose in the photo op room, but there was something significant on the sign. Ira's gonna have to chime in on the show graphic. I don't remember what it was, but he had some significant message that you, Greg, other people told him it's not going to show up the way you wrote it. And he kind of just forged ahead and it didn't show up. So it's basically Ira holding like a piece of WB Mason like printer paper up in the photo of Michael J. Fox. But to get to the actual point of the news, I guess something brought this on besides Nic Cage being a bit of a unique character. Like I didn't hear anything that, you know, people came with like swastikas to hold up on signs. Like, I don't know what, I never heard of anything like salacious that like necessitated this change, but I think like most things, they're probably only going to enforce the truly insane, right? Like, are they going to make someone change if they, you know, you walk in with a shirt that says like Volkswagen or something? Are they really going to like?
I don't think
crazy?
it's that. I think they're concerned about votes, about shirts that are political in nature. To me, I suspect that's it, or are making, you know, commentary on some kind of social issue that a celebrity really doesn't want to touch with a 10-foot pole. That's my guess is what they're concerned about. Because I will say I have seen some members of the marked out autograph collecting community show up, you know, for photo ops in shirts, and I'd be like, damn, I'm not sure that I would wear that because of its messaging. I mean, I certainly wouldn't wear it, but I bet a certain celebrity might feel uncomfortable, you know, giving the impression that they were like endorsing a particular worldview. You know what I mean?
Is Nic Cage comfortable endorsing the Combo Gods? If I wear my Combo God shirt when I meet him, and more on where I may be meeting him later on, will that be a problem?
This is where it gets hairy, right? Because on one level, I mean, we walk up with a shirt that says "Respect the Combo Gods." He has no idea what that is. No, like legitimately, he has legitimately no idea. What is that? What the hell does that even mean? You know, no normal person would even understand what this means. So if you understand what it means, you're like, surprise, you're not normal. But for real though, like I totally get not wanting to be blindsided when it comes to, you know, you're endorsing some kind of message that you don't really know. But the problem with this is ultimately the people who want to do such things, if they really were feeling mischievous, they could, you know, have a shirt where the message is a little more subtle that, you know, unless you're an insider, you wouldn't necessarily even know what it means, you know?
Yeah. I mean, for all the hell anyone knows, Respect the Combo Gods could be some message of, you know, tearing down the government. Who the hell knows? Well,
wait, because at the end of the day, you don't really know. You know, there's just so many inside jokes and all these things. You can't keep track of all this nonsense. Fundamentally speaking, you just can't. And so I totally get what I completely understand what they're trying to do. Completely. What I imagine is this plan or policy is in place that not expecting to actually really enforce it. You know what I mean? That they're really only going to enforce it as they deem necessary if they see something egregious.
Agreed. And interestingly enough, quick little spoiler alert, Nicolas Cage was added to Fan Expo Dallas, which we will talk about later on. There's no such disclaimer on the Dallas page, which is also Leap Epic. So
are you going to use that as your chance to really get through some insane thing?
I think me and Nicolas Cage can be yum yuckers together, and I mean, he can't say anything because it doesn't say anything against yum yucking in the photo op.
I think that again, I think this is one of those things. They're just nervous about someone espousing a particularly incendiary political ideology, or, you know, God knows what else, and they don't want to deal with it. The other possibility is that someone brought a prop that was a little bit dangerous. You know, people are nuts and they do nutty things. And I could see someone bringing a prop that is perceived as dangerous. Here, Nick, can you hang this noose around my neck? I mean, look, I brought a necktie when I met Brian Danielson 100 years ago, and I asked him to choke me with it, and he did it. Because I imagine, you know, obviously wrestling is a little bit of a different animal from the rest of this stuff, but he did it, which is totally psychotic. He shouldn't have done that.
I forgot that was yours. I thought he had that at the table, and that was like
No,
what he
it was
offering.
mine. It was
Oh,
mine.
I was impressed by him, like pivoting so quick to like the timely thing to make extra money. You're just a psychopath. I'm more impressed by you though than I was 5 minutes ago.
Because I already had an op. I got Bryan Danielson when he was in ROH, and I paid extra for that op with him because I was going to bring the tie and have him choke me with it. He was a good sport about it. He laughed like a nut job. But yeah, maybe I got to dig that picture out for Photo with Friday at some point. I feel like I have, though. I have posted it.
Listen,
that's
much
the
like
problem with Photo with Friday and Wicked Ink Wednesday. I find myself like wondering, shoot, did I already post this?
Much like I told Mark Miller 16 times. If you barely remember if you posted it, I don't think anyone else will. So let it fly.
You're not wrong, but I do have a self-consciousness with this, irrationally perhaps, but nonetheless, there it is. So what do you think? Is this something that we're going to see kind of around? I'm surprised this isn't the standard disclaimer. I'm going to be honest. I suspect that at some point in the near future, this will become the standard disclaimer.
I think it probably should be. I don't think I'm not usually one that defends the celebrity because their payday is pretty simple, all things considered. You stand next to people, you scribble poorly on items for a couple hours. You make a hell of a lot more money per hour than I do, or you do, or anyone listening to us damn near makes. But at the same time, if you're like, let's say, John Voight at a convention should not have to stand next to someone with like shirts mocking Trump if he likes Trump. And vice versa, if Rosie O'Donnell's at a convention, she shouldn't be surrounded by MAGA. Like that you're just trying to, incite some sort of a reaction from this person. That's not the point of a fan encounter at a convention.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, right? That it's about political opinions that they don't agree with. I even think it's a kind of a broader issue. I don't think it's fair. Like, even if you assume they agree with something, I don't think it's fair to really kind of put them in a spot where they're seen as endorsing any kind of idea because, people's ideas and beliefs are complex, or they should be anyway. And I don't think it's fair to kind of like lump them into this thing that you're going to take a picture with, because that's how people, I don't know, because we live in an era, you took a picture next to that guy, he was wearing a whatever, the Boston Tea Party never happened t-shirt. I don't know where I came up with that, but why would you do that? Because these guys aren't really, they go into the zone. They're not looking at what you're wearing or paying attention to this stuff.
No. And then you also have the people, which you kind of hinted at, that think it's funny to wear some insanely like obscene shirt about like, insert body part here, inspector, and things like that. It's like, it's not really, it shouldn't be worn by anyone. And damn, definitely not to someone standing next to it and gets roped up into the message, if there even is one behind it.
I think I told you, but I don't remember if I have. I actually think I might have mentioned it on the show once, that when I met Betsy Palmer 10 million years ago, I was wearing a shirt. It was a Cyanide and Happiness shirt. That was that webcomic. And the picture was on the shirt was the little webcomic man with like a little, basically it was the branch of a tree simulating the size and like firmness of his genitalia. And I really didn't think too much about it when I wore the shirt. And I go up to Betsy Palmer, who like was tickled by this shirt, and she kept carrying on about how funny it was, and it was so embarrassing because this woman was like 80, and I was wearing this shirt with genitals on it. So I did not feel great about that.
Well, listen, speaking of genitals, I really hope Blue Chew one day will sponsor us. I would have so much fun with those weekly ads. I mean, that would be nice. It would be nice to get some sponsor dollars. I don't know what it takes really, but I'm mostly, I don't know, are we for sale? I like to think on some level I'm not for sale, but that's probably a lie. That's probably kidding myself most likely. I mean, we did the Dhillon Hines thing, which honestly, I mean, some people call him nicknames that sort of deal with things like the Blue Chew. So, I mean, I think we could endorse Blue Chew. Why not?
Well, the saddest thing about that, we never made any money from it.
I know.
We ended it before we got paid. So we made nothing. Literally zero. For anyone who didn't ever did we ever say that? I don't remember if we said that.
No.
But yeah, we made nothing.
Well, that shows that we're either not sellouts or we're really bad sellouts.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, we didn't do it right.
No, for sure. That is pretty funny that we were paid nothing for it.
But
you know
yes,
what's funny?
Blue Chew sponsor us. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, have you noticed his dad continues to try to post ads on the board?
You must reject them before I see them. No.
Within seconds. Well, to be fair, he doesn't even give me the chance to like decide if I want to reject them or not, because half the time he'll post a link and the link is broken. It doesn't work. So it's an automatic rejection if the link doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like it goes without saying.
And listen, for the record, before I start getting messages, I think I'm back on good terms with Dhillon. He's never wronged me in any sort of a way that I should have animosity. I don't. He's some of his things have been questionable, which we've talked about, and I have no beef with Dhillon Hines. If I saw him tomorrow, if he's in Jamaica with me, if he's on the plane with me or he's in the resort, I'm going to be friendly and happy to see him. So I got no beef.
I am so hoping he is in the resort.
The good doctor down in Jamaica.
Because you put it out in the universe, and now I'm hoping that it happens.
Imagine
I'm not sure what the context.
Imagine Richie's down there. Everyone's down there.
They're all down there.
It's like the meeting of like the families with like the mafia. The special ed version.
Oh my god! All right. There's some reports. So let's see. Juan did the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere. You know what's funny? My sister-in-law was also there. No, by the way, I don't want to yuck Juan's yum here, but my sister-in-law does every single Backstreet Boys meet and greet. Every single one. She actually passed on this one because it was too expensive. So I don't know what that's saying about Mr. Moneybags Juan over there, but that is true. She does all of them. So yeah.
So basically what you're saying is Juan is like the C-rat of boy bands, I guess.
You know, clearly something's going on there. But no, I'm just kidding. No, but for real, my sister-in-law does all of them. Like, it's a thing. She's met, even like, she had already met Nick Carter like 100 times, and my brother still had to go to 90s Con that time because Nick Carter was going to be there. So this is like a whole to-do. And he had to pay for the video op as well as the photo op. It's a thing. So... yeah. But she's there. She went to the Sphere to see the Backstreet Boys. So as did Juan, who went there with his wife, and they went 2 nights in a row.
That's cool.
Listen, God bless.
It's obviously not Pokemoning, which we've all been guilty of sometimes on a weekly basis. This is something that means something to them, and that's important. And when people go nuts with how much does that cost? It doesn't matter. Like, we do this, we all spend money foolishly because it's all foolish at the end of the day. So it's all about what makes you happy, and this makes them happy, and that's awesome.
Yeah. So, but it seemed like a good time. They had a meet and greet with Nick Carter and Howie, whoever the Howie guy is from Backstreet Boys.
I never knew there was a Howie, honestly. But...
Yeah, well, he's like one of the lesser Backstreet Boys, I think.
Okay.
The meet and greet was, no surprise, it was an overwhelmingly female audience. But that the meet and greet didn't begin until after midnight Pacific, which is absolutely savage, but understandable after doing a huge, expensive venue like the Sphere. You've never been to the Sphere, right?
I've never been to Las Vegas. No.
So I was in Vegas 2 years ago, and I really wanted to go to the Sphere. That was like part of my sort of one of my plans to try and do. But when I was there, because now you can go and see movies in the Sphere. It's expensive, but you can see a movie. When I was there, it was like a tech demo only, and it was still like $80 to $100 for a ticket, and it was only a tech demo, and I couldn't bring myself to do it. So I didn't actually go. I saw the Sphere from the outside, but I never actually went inside.
The Odyssey in the Sphere would probably be an experience.
They can't get licensed to play like current. They think like Wizard of Oz, like stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
I would love to see the Wizard of Oz in the Sphere. That would be amazing. But when I was there, it wasn't playing or nothing. It was like some stupid tech demos. I got pissed. So of course Juan he went combo hunting with his wife, and he said made it memorable. You know my feeling on this. The photo op must be alone because you never know. And I don't want my photo ops with other people in them.
I don't want to rehash that, but in this case, I think Juan made the right call.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, he already did the Backstreet Boys with her. I mean, at that point, I think that's about as for life as it gets.
You wouldn't try for the switcheroo so that you can get the group op with the wife and then also get a single just in case?
No, because I would think maybe she wants the solo op more than him. So then you're doing a double switcheroo, or you're doing the gentlemanly switcheroo, which is you let the woman take the solo shot and you got nothing to show for it.
It's a no from me, dog, right there.
Chivalry and combo hunting is not a thing. Like you steamroll a woman in a combo hunting, whether you're related to her. Well, I mean, hopefully one's not related to her. You know what I mean? Whether it's family or not, like there's no chivalry in combo hunting. So I would take the couple shot and be happy with it.
Interesting. Very interesting. I still maintain that my position on that was correct. That you don't want to have an op with multiple people in it because it complicates things, unnecessarily. Because you never know where things are going to go.
Imagine that's what keeps a marriage together. Not one, of course. I'm going past one now, and just imagine you like I can't get divorced. It would invalidate too many photo ops.
Listen, that's so funny story, and many years ago, I had an ex, and I got certain items personalized to both of us. I went through those items and I erased the personalization just because I did not want that. So with a photo op, I think I would be particularly, frustrated with that.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
So anyway, I'm not saying anything about Juan in this marriage, but not at all. It was a very cute photo, but it's just one of those things. I don't want someone else in my pictures. That's it. Any other person, blood related or otherwise, I don't want them. What else we got? The Lauryn Hill signing that you skipped. Zeb did not skip.
He did.
He met Lauryn Hill. She was sweet. She was 3 hours late, but it was very, very positive. And by the way, every Lauryn Hill report that I've seen on the marked out autograph collecting community and elsewhere has been overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, the sentiment was that even if she comes late, she stays late to sort of make everything work and to see everybody. One report I want to share because he actually called and told me this report over the phone, and he didn't share it on the group, but that's okay. Dave,
what is that? Why wouldn't he do it on the board?
I'm not sure. Did you
explain how this works?
I didn't get to explain. He's shared before, so
Dave. I'm saying Dave. From now on, post it because otherwise, this one time I'll let it through. After this, I'll edit it out. I'm just gonna edit it out. So go ahead.
Anyways, so Dave was in the sun. He was waiting around for hours. He made it inside, and as he made it inside, he felt kind of lightheaded and faint, and he needed to be helped, to a chair. And they had to call an ambulance, and paramedics came, and they tended to him a bit. And in like a Willis Reed fashion, he was helped by the paramedics to the table to get the photo op. I mean, imagine you wait 8 hours and you don't get the photo op after all that. So he got his photo op, and then he ended up like the paramedics took him outside. I think they gave him fluids and stuff in the ambulance. They will sort of walked him around the block a couple times to see how he felt, which seems counterintuitive if someone just had like heat stroke. And then I think someone, I'm not sure who, bought him dinner and an Uber home. I think it might have been the store.
I hope the Lauryn Hill signing was worth the $10,000 ambulance bill you're gonna get.
Oh, true.
That's how much an ambulance bill is. So, good times. No, what would you? Okay, real talk. Because I'm telling you, because most of my combo hunting is with you. If I ever have a medical incident at a combo event, just kill me. Just kill me so I don't have to deal with the embarrassment of it.
I was already like thinking about what I would have done if I went to Lauryn Hill, because I would have been online with Dave, and I'm like, what do you do? Like, I would try to like make sure he was okay, but I mean, you can't walk. You say off the obviously
line. Is that so obvious? I have a feeling no one wants to be very candidly. No one wants to be on one of these lines with me when they're having a medical incident, because I am deeply unsympathetic, even if it's a real thing. I just can't. I'm very bad in real life. This is a real thing about me. I'm really bad at real life emergencies. I kind of shut down. almost immediately. I get aggravated, which is ridiculous, obviously.
Didn't someone die at a Sinomania once, or like
no,
something?
She didn't
close
die.
To that?
She passed out, and it was a little bit of a medical incident. But I was pissed because Sika left. I never got Sika. The prick died, and I actually never got him because that one Sinomania he refused to. Well, the issue was I had paid for the super ticket. He refused to stay past his scheduled time to accommodate for the the medical incident. And so then
rules.
Well, then it became a thing, right? Those jerks. And then it became a thing. Was like, I will never pay for Sika because I paid for him once. I refused to ever pay again. It was like a principle.
And now you only have one wild Samoan.
I'll live.
Probably. And if you don't, I'll climb over you on the signing line to get to the table.
Is that a
medical emergency joke about you because you said how unsympathetic you are? So
yeah, I had no. It was in the moment. I was like, you know what? Why did Sika have to leave? I didn't even care about Sika, although Sika did have that house show program with Hulk Hogan early on. That I remember. I believe I saw a house show with Hulk Hogan versus Sika. Anyway, I don't know how we got there, but yeah, medical emergencies. That's how that Sinomania was wild. Was that the first one I went to or the second one I went to? I don't remember.
First one went to, I didn't.
You didn't go.
It was the Road Warrior Animal, Sunny, one Kamala. I think Kamala was there.
Well, the one that I went to also was that you didn't go to was Chief J Strongbow, I believe.
Who I ended up getting up in Amsterdam.
Yeah, the Chief J Strongbow one, where that was okay. True, real talk. That Sinomania was my first exposure to like weird hobby people because I don't know did I ever tell you this story? I don't even know. I was talking to the guy who was next to me in line to meet Chief J Strongbow, and he seemed like a normal enough guy. And so I was like, oh, whatever, he's a normal guy. And, how would I know? And he gets up to Chief J Strongbow, and he immediately begins to weep openly. And I swear to God, I'm not exaggerating. He's crying about how he's his hero and he's his idol. And he has all these old like aftermags that he was getting Chief J Strongbow to sign. But he was like crying during it. So by the way, if this is someone, I just don't remember who you are. If this is someone listening, I'm sorry. But I was super mega like secondhand douche chills kind of embarrassment.
And what year was this? 2000 what?
7 or 8.
So that's 2007 is what we need to put on the Yum Yucker shirt.
Definitely. When I say horrified by that whole.
This was the like maiden voyage of Yum Yucking right here for you in the hobby.
Yes. And I make no mistake about it. I was like, this guy is unwell. Like I immediately was this. I was like, this is a problem. I was like, what? Then it's as soon as this happens, I start having these existential crises. Like, is this me? Am I this guy? Just like hide it a little bit better.
Yeah, basically you're him detached, which I mean you could argue is a lot more deranged because like he's driven by emotion. What were you driven by?
I don't know, compulsion, I guess. No, like I thought it was neat, but I was meeting Chief J Strongbow, but it was very like, oh, this is neat, in the same way that like lots of things can be neat. Seeing the world's largest pig could be neat, right?
I think they were also at Sinomania that year.
Definitely, not even a question. I think they joined the board at one point. But anyway, the guy started crying. It was crazy. You're like legit crying. So I do remember that quite vividly. Anyway, that's how we got from Lauryn Hill and having a medical incident. That's how we got there. What else we got? C-Rat expanded his combo hunting world to boxing. What's next?
I'm proud of C-Rat. He hits everything, and it's really cool. He did Zuffa Boxing 109 at Madison Square Garden, which is apparently boxing under the TKO umbrella. I didn't even know there was such a thing. I'm not really sure what the elasticity is of like boxing in 2026. Can we really get it to expand and grow? And no, I'm not still campaigning for a Blue Chew commercial. I don't know, but it was cool. They sat next to Edgar Berlanga's family during the main event, who was one of the fighters. Liv Morgan was somehow there, I guess, with the TKO thing. But it's funny how they must see Liv Morgan more than a lot of people see their family members. They got photos in the ring with Liv Morgan, the Ring Girls. They met Edgar Berlanga, who I'm probably not pronouncing that name correctly. He was funny and personable, and then Finn spotted Dana White and got the photo with him, and that is how you do, Finn. That is a combo hunter in action.
He's a combo hunting Padawan at this point.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps beyond that, but let's call him that for the storyline, because then when he fully evolves and transforms into the adult combo hunter that he will be, hopefully, or not hopefully if we want him to have a good life.
Dad, but
yeah, true. But it was a good time.
It seemed like it. My dad is a big boxing fan, and that's what I brought him whenever when the big event when they had the show in Queens that time, and they had Vito Antuofermo. I brought my dad, because my dad actually funny. I don't know if I ever told you this. My dad actually trained with Vito Antuofermo when Vito was an active boxer. My dad was very into the whole scene at one point in the 70s. So it was excited to see Vito. And I had offered then to bring him to chill out when they had some boxing, and my dad he doesn't want to go anywhere anymore. So he's like, no, I don't want to go. It took a lot of, did I tell you it took a lot of arm twisting to get him to go to the Arnold book signing with me, which is crazy. Cause I bought the ticket for his benefit. I had already met Arnold, during the infamous, fake chiropractor story.
You say it's weird, but you're pitching to your dad about the idea of, let's go wait outside of a bookstore for 3 hours. Then we get inside the bookstore and we sort of weave and go through long aisles of the bookstore for another 45 minutes, all for about a 16-second interaction with Arnold. Like, would someone really want to do that isn't second deranged like us?
Well, I mean, Arnold was my dad's idol. So I haven't shared this. My dad was an amateur bodybuilder my whole life. And so he was very into the bodybuilding scene. I mean, he was from New York. So, he didn't train with Arnold, but he trained with the guys who were like Ferrigno adjacent. And so he was in the New York bodybuilding scene. My dad attended the premiere of Pumping Iron. He was very into it. So Arnold is like his god almost. Arnold is a god of the bodybuilding sphere. He changed bodybuilding from not a sport, basically, to a sport with international recognition. Arnold changed the way we think of like fitness. Would there be gyms, major franchises of gyms today in America without Arnold? Maybe, but they certainly would not have proliferated the way they did. He's really an important cultural figure. I think we had this conversation when we were debating Arnold versus Stallone. But anyway, my dad's really into boxing and bodybuilding and stuff. So I tried to get him into these cons when it's appropriate. And he aside from the Arnold book signing, which he did, but begrudgingly, he's been pretty damn resistant, and it's annoying, to be honest.
Well, at least you got him out. One of your few photos with someone that I guess you're happy with because you already had one.
Well, because I had one already.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, I would not have been happy if that was my only picture with Arnold, if we're being totally honest.
Even though you could have cropped him out easily without any sort of an issue. But
I could have, you're right. But these people never do. They post it with their whole family member in there.
Yeah. Who would do such a thing?
I find it odd. I'm allowed to find it odd. I know other people. I was not the only one who thought that, though. Other people. I'm not saying it was unanimous, but other people did agree with me.
It was. I think it was the guy that was sobbing when he met Chief Jay Strong, bro. He agreed with you.
He wanted to keep Chief Jay Strong all to himself.
Yeah, he left his mother out in the car. That's probably accurate.
Oh, almost certainly. I think, yeah. Anyway, enough of the boxing. What else? The C-Rat's been around this week quite a bit. He also went to the SummerSlam tryouts in Minneapolis. There was they actually, I wasn't sure whether it was like an invite only or was a ticketed event, but it was a ticketed event. Did you see the ads for this? Because I did not.
I feel like I did, but it may have just been my memory of it happening last year. I think C-Rat attended last year as well. I know Jeff Seltzer attended last year when it was in Jersey. It was I think it was a ticketed thing through I'm not sure what it was through. I want to say On Location, but I think he said it wasn't. No, that was the boxing thing that he got through Ticketmaster. Yeah, it probably was On Location. Honestly, it sounded pretty cool. Probably a similar type of experience like we had at the showcases and stuff, where you get to kind of be a fly on the wall and observe certain things that, you typically wouldn't get to see. And there was a Q&A with Shawn Michaels, Ivy Nile, Natalia, Javon Evans, and X-Pac, and he got a group shot with all 5 of them. it seems like Natalia is sort of crossing over into that like behind the scenes role, and I really couldn't think of a better woman to do that. And then he got photos with, and he got photos with Kendall Gray, who, by the way, is everything I kind of wanted Zeta Steel to be when the like ID program got off the ground and evolved. She's really good.
She's awesome. She's fantastic. She's a phenom. That girl's great. She's great.
I'm salty that like when the Evolve thing kicked off, she was already in that like ecosystem that we really couldn't work with her. Because legit, she's the female Jackson from that opening like class. She's so good.
By the way, I meant to send you this today. So wherever. I mean, I'm not gonna remember next week. Did you see that Jackson got into a beef with Maven online? So it's Maven's an asshole, by the way. So basically, Maven posted more or less. He posted a he has this stupid YouTube channel, whatever. He posted this thing where he was basically making fun of the way Micah Lockwood looks. You know who that is.
Yeah, I'm listening. That's a strange thing to do in 2026, but okay.
It is. It's a little bit of a strange thing, and he kind of made fun of Jackson's like acting ability and stuff like that. But it was the thing that got people really riled up was that he made fun of her appearance, and so Jackson basically like posted an Instagram story like more or less. I have to bleep that now. I can't believe I said that. He didn't use those words. That just shows you I did. But yeah. So that it's interesting because Jackson has done like manufactured Twitter beefs and Instagram beefs with people that kayfabe. This is not that for sure. So also, not for nothing, I was skeptical when they brought her as part of the Vanity Project. She's unbelievable. She's amazing. We haven't talked about that enough. She's awesome. I actually love the way I love her role. I think she's great.
No, she really is. Vanity Project is very much its own thing, but let's not act like Sean and probably Hunter. There's a lot of little like DX winks and stuff. Like Sean definitely sees the guys, which I've told them before they were even down there, that Sean would be the guy to really see in them what they have and like know how to get the most out of it. And she really like in her own way sort of does a lot of what like China did with DX. Like she really fits well. She adds to their presentation in a positive way.
She's funny. She's funny. Her facial expressions are good. She's a freak athlete. I mean, she's shredded to the bone, and she's gigantic, but she's actually funny too. So I'm a big fan, honestly. I wasn't sure I was going to say that. I was a little bit hesitant. I'm completely sold.
I just wonder if Jackson if they're gonna keep this act on NXT long enough that Jackson gets North American or maybe NXT title before the move up, or they think that they're in time that they're like these guys are ready to be like an act on Raw or SmackDown. Which I think
issue is the main roster is so bloated.
Yeah,
that I don't see that happening anytime soon. I mean,
I hope not.
You saw they moved Grayson Waller back down to NXT, right?
If they call them up too soon, they're going to be like a mid card like comedy type of thing. Which I mean, it beats what a lot of people who never made it can say they did. But I think they're capable of more. So I hope they kind of get to stretch their wings a bit, spread their wings on NXT.
Yeah, the key is that you get paid because NXT, the salaries are very variable. If they get some, livable money, who cares whether? I don't care where you are. Learn, as long as you get a livable wage. I know that. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed some of the next in line people have started to resign because they're not, they're only being paid $60,000-$70,000 a year, and that's just not enough to live when you have to relocate to Orlando and stuff.
No. And Micah Lockwood is 25 years old, which is around where Smokes is, and then Brad and Jackson are younger. So I mean, they got time. The whole four of them have time. They don't have to rush.
Absolutely.
Anything.
No, and they're you could see them working it out, getting better every single week. And we haven't talked about them in a minute. I would love, and I texted this to you and you didn't answer me. I would love to figure out a way to make something happen before the summer is over. We got to talk about it. Even though, to be perfectly honest, we have almost no time before the summer is over.
Well, listen, I would be open to booking a couple more flights. V's up, planes up. Let's do it.
It's just a matter of getting the timing to work out. Because that's one of those things where it's legit like fly down Tuesday morning, fly back Wednesday afternoon kind of thing, or Wednesday evening if it works out, you know?
Yeah, hell, maybe same day.
Yeah. Very, very reasonable.
Unless you want me to drag you to a theme park.
Absolutely not. No. Well, this is for work. No, I don't even like theme parks, really. That's not true. I like a nice theme park with rides. I don't want a theme park with screaming kids and mouse ears and all that nonsense. So, anyway, we're digressing here. David, he went to the Cecil County Fair in Maryland to meet former Baltimore outfielder Al Bunbury. I guess there was some kind of military appreciation day. Bunbury is also a Bronze Star recipient for his service during Vietnam. That's pretty cool. Free signing, free baseballs. Life is good.
You can't beat that. That's awesome.
Apparently, he got him to sign an extra. See, that is the marked out way. They give you a free item, you bring in an extra. Why not?
You got to do it. You got to do it. Worst case, it doesn't get done, but you got to be prepared.
Always be prepared because you never know what the options are. You know, you want to take advantage of what the options are. I really firmly believe that it's very important to be prepared in these kind of environments. And you see some of our marked out regulars are so good at being prepared, even better than I am. I'm pretty good with being prepared, but like people like Vin and stuff, they're just unbelievably prepared always. And it's a delight to see. So I'm glad. I don't know David too well, but he clearly did a good job with this one.
Oh yeah, and if you run up on Vinny in the bathroom, he's gonna have some Billy Joel item on his person, guaranteed. He is probably the most prepared person I know in this hobby.
Side note: I love that he called you out on your insanity. From the last episode.
He's full of crap. I don't believe him for a second.
Are you serious? This is a bit.
I'm serious. I mean, I say it lovingly. I say it in a friendly way. I think he's lying. I don't think
you don't think it's possible for someone to not be like you in this regard.
I don't want to make it that I'm like the center of the universe because I'm not. I just don't think anyone would really be happy if that he all the blood, sweat, and tears that went into that photo op, and then people are gonna just go on the Bookends website and pay like $36.99 and get the same thing. I think everyone's gonna be a little salty with that. Come on.
Is it you really can't see a world in which he would just be happy that other people met him?
I don't think so, but I mean, he might be a better person than I. Others, in a sense, they may be a true saint in a world of combo gods.
I mean, look, with the number of people in this hobby who are extraordinarily cutthroat, people who are even in theory friendly, I guess you're probably right. But I am happy that he was like almost appalled at your suggestion that he would be unhappy that Billy Joe would do a public appearance. I thought that was pretty funny.
I think it's shtick. I gotta see him in person. You gotta hit him with the Larry David like sizing up squint. I gotta see his eyes and see if he really means that. I don't think he does.
You think he's really just kayfabing this?
I think he wants to seem nice. I think he doesn't want to seem others in a sense. That doesn't want to be a complete animal like me. So I think he wants to seem nicer. He aspires to feel happy. I don't think he does.
Wow. I don't really begrudge people either. That's the thing. I don't really care when other people get things. That's the funny part. I'm with Vin on this. I don't care.
I think you're lying too.
But based on what? When have I ever in fact, we've had this argument before with the Akira Hokuto thing. I helped everyone get her, right?
That's true.
I mean, it's objectively a fact. I don't care really. I don't care if other people have someone. It just doesn't bother me. I don't know what to say. Maybe I should care. I don't. I do not. Anyway. Ari hit the National. We had talked about the National on the last show as something that might be impacted by the rise of fanatics in this space. He hit day one. He seemed to have a good time. He hasn't been there in a couple of years. He said that they improved a lot because he was there last in 2022. They improved a lot. Last time it was a logistical nightmare. Photo ops and autographs were cramped. This time, significant improvement. Now, you've never been to the National, right?
Have not. I've never been to Chicago before. I've been to a surprisingly little amount of places.
So, I mean, because this is something that seems like it will be moderately up your alley. He did say they kind of use the old the old creation way of doing photo ops where it's basically just one printer going. And so if there's any kind of backlog, you get your delays forever and ever. And apparently like digital photo downloads take a week to put up online, which is kind of nutty.
I'm not going to lie. That kind of thing makes me not want to go, to be completely honest, because you either wait a week to post everything, or you end up wasting the impressions and the views and the likes on the scans. You don't want to do that. You got to drop the good stuff right off the bat, and then it's weird. It's weird to, as a con of this magnitude. Honestly, I take it back from last week. Maybe Fanatics should put them out of their misery if they can't even print photo ops in a timely fashion.
Damn.
But no, it looked like a great time.
Yeah, I think a lot of this show still has kind of that. It's not, I mean, obviously not a small show per se, but it has that same kind of, I guess you call it a more classic con mentality of how
it's old school. It's an old school show,
which definitely has its pros and cons, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm at a point with cons where it's almost all cons. Like I don't like. I want my photo ops instantly. I want the JPEG instantly. There's not much of the old school stuff. I assure you, the pricing isn't old school. I'm sure it's equal.
Well, you're like Violet Beauregard. You want your Oompa Loompa now.
Yeah,
right?
Unless you're gonna charge me 2008 pricing. Don't give me 2008 technology and infrastructure.
That's hard for these guys because a lot of them, that's all they know.
Yeah, precisely. And I guess that's
you gotta wonder in a world where like
is.
So question out of nowhere. I don't know where I pulled this out of my ear. If Froggy hadn't died, do you think Froggy just simply gets absorbed into, trying to compete with Epic? Or do you think Froggy kind of maintains his presence at these types of shows?
I think there'd be a chance. I mean, like the chiller photographer guy, like he's nice enough. But, like I've complained before on here about that whole like getting your JPEG process. I think Froggy could probably have done better than that. I think that there's definitely that like lower tier photographer. I don't know if it would have been like maybe it would have been like Epic Froggy or a Froggy Leap. Ooh, Froggy Leap actually sounds pretty good. But I think that's probably not as likely as him just existing in the smaller like fringe cons. It's a good question.
I wonder how many people remember. I mean, Froggy died years ago at this point.
I don't even know if I remembered Froggy until you said it. When you said it, it all came rushing back to me. But if I was given like a game show style thing of write down every photo op company you could think of, that wouldn't be a very good game show. But I don't know if Froggy would have really leapt from my brain.
Yeah, listen, I don't know where that even came from. So I'm not sure this hobby news thing, that's an old thing that got stuck in here, right?
No, it's a new thing. It sadly removed a lot of the stuff. But the Smoke with Snoop VIP experience is like added like 8 or 9 more locations all throughout the United States. So if anyone was jealous of our experience with Snoop Dogg, and look, here I am not being being more like others in Ascente. I'm trying to spread the wealth. I'm trying to help people spend their money poorly like we do.
Do they have the lesser included VIP option like we?
That is a really good question. I will look right now. He is doing San Jose, California, Glendale, Arizona, Highland Park, Illinois, Welch, Minnesota, Spokane, and Everett, Washington. This spans from August all the way to December. I imagine they will add some more along the way, but that is where he's going to be. And I'm just going to check one randomly.
I'm not
going to
lie. These are not major markets at all.
No.
At all. Quite strange markets, in fact.
Yeah, I'm checking right now if they still have the cheap seat, which I mean, hardly a cheap seat. For Illinois, they only got the smoke session. Unless it's a different Eventbrite, which I don't think there is. Yeah, I don't think there is. I think they may have eliminated hours and they're just leaning on the Smoke with Snoop thing. Which what I guess it comes down to is these are the venues bringing him in to sort of MC and do his thing. And if they sell one, good for them. If they don't, well, oh well. But yeah, they're all $4,500, and that's all. They've eliminated the price. I can't say because you will be embarrassed. That's gone.
Thank you for respecting that. Usually you just blurt it out.
I'm feeling pretty sharp today. I don't know what it is. I think it's like there's a certain level of tired that you get that you feel like you're clicking on all cylinders. And I remember today you were the one that said something you have to bleep.
I'm very disappointed. I hate bleeping. Trust me, I hate it. So I can't believe I can't believe I said that. I've never actually made that mistake before on the show. So
usually the only F word you use is froggy, but now you're really not good.
I have this bit at work that I do where I say, guys, I normally wouldn't use the C word in public, but now I'll use the word cute instead, and it gets a pretty good pop. So like now you're using a variation on that with F and froggy. Anyway, that's the Snoop Dogg thing. New York Comic Con. So I wanted to put this on the outline. So New York Comic Con had its general on sale for photo ops and autographs, the non-VIP people. And I went on there and I noticed something kind of important, which is for the first time that I can recall pretty much ever, there was absolutely no wait to get in and nothing sold out.
Did you jump on at a weird time? Because I read comments of people saying that there were 3,500 in front of them and all. Like, it seemed like a typical...
When I jumped on at about 12:45. It opened up at 12 o'clock. I jumped on at 12:45. It said there were 12,000 people in front of me, and then it said less than 1 minute to get in. And then I got in less than 1 minute. Nothing sold.
Okay. Well, right now, as of now, Nicolas Cage premium autograph and 8x10 autographs have sold out. The bulky premium, which is like props and things of that nature, they are still available, but the autographs have sold out. Photo ops have not. So Nicolas Cage's graphs are gone. I imagine Hayden has also had something sell out, I would imagine.
I think premium. Hayden will stay all week.
So. Friday, Saturday, premium autographs gone. Photo ops, 8x10s, and bulky, all good. All still there.
What do you make of this?
I don't know. I don't want to overreact of Hayden Christensen not selling out being a sort of a point in your favor of him not being a headliner or a suitable headliner after being there and everywhere else so often, because he's a guy that typically seems to know how to run a table. He's there often. He's there a lot. He's there multiple days. So, I mean, it takes a lot for a guest of that magnitude to sort of sell out. So, you know, not the worst sign, maybe, but I mean, Nicolas Cage is by and large the guy at this show, and him selling out autographs makes sense, I suppose. Not a great sign that nothing else has, but I don't know if the stuff of this level ever really sells out. It may be that they have more stuff to come.
You do realize like Ewan McGregor sold out of everything during VIP, right? Everything.
Was it during VIP? Did I have VIP access that year?
Yes, you did. If it wasn't during VIP, it was during the first seconds of regular on sale because I threw a temper tantrum about it.
I remember that, but I didn't know if I had the VIP access that year. This year I did. I'm not gonna thank the person who I had it courtesy of, because then they'll get hit up by people. But my gratitude is there.
I was furious with the whole Ewan McGregor fiasco.
I miss the days when they would show like what group they were up to, like right on the page. Like, I'd love to know what Matt Lillard's groups are up to. How is the what I think they're making a mistake on the photo ops. They're only doing the Scream group up, which is a terrible grouping. It really is. They should be leaning on Skeet and Matt, the like sandwich op. That would sell better. The women that want them don't want Lee Waddell in this photo.
They don't.
Maybe I'm wrong, but
poor Lee Waddell. But yeah, no, they don't want Lee. Well, let's be totally honest. No, there's no interest there.
And to really piss you off, Kane Hodder, this I didn't put on the outline, but Kane Hodder is offering an in-costume Jason Takes Manhattan photo op. We've never had such a Monster Mania photo op grace the Javits Center.
It's honestly almost an insult, if I'm being totally candid. It's baffling. Part
of me is wondering if this is the time I should finally spring for an in-costume Jason op. And the other part of me is like, is that something you ever need? Is there a time to do that? I don't know.
But it's Jason Takes Manhattan, which is that's the weird outfit.
Oh, true. That is fair. At least it's not Jason in space.
It's not good. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think Kane Hodder does any business at a show like this. I'm being totally candid. I don't think he does. It's a weird show for him to be at, in my opinion.
I like it just for the experiment of it all. like I really want to see what Lillard is doing, and I want to see what Kane Hodder is doing. These are guys that do really well at every horror show they do. This is not a horror show. Do the horror fans come out and do they still do their numbers, or is this the time to get a Lillard autograph in like an hour? I don't know.
I think they'll do fine. I think a guy but they just don't need to be booked at a show like this. You know, even like I don't think Kane. I mean, even Kane will probably do all right, but it's just he should be booked at the different show. It's just not the right show. I don't know. And we did this already. I'll do it again. So you're taking a cautious approach to this. Aren't you curious that there's no wait time?
I mean, I think there was. You came in 45 minutes late. There's some years that wait time would be residual for hours. But I think if you jumped on at 12 o'clock, you would have a wait time. You probably didn't get in until 12:45.
But nothing was when I went on at 12:45. Nothing was sold out.
I had a wait time on the VIP for about 20 minutes.
So, but when I came on, the point was when I came on at 12:45, nothing was sold out. So that's probably why there was no wait time, because no one was buying anything. I don't know. I suspect unless they do something now. By the way, we did notice you put on this sheet, and it's important to note Jamie Campbell Bower stuff was not up for sale.
Still isn't.
However, I saw a post by New York Comic Con. His stuff is going up for sale at a later date. There's a separate on sale, which might mean there's another wave of guests where they're going to do a separate wave of releases.
That would be very fanatic-y of them. It kind of makes you also wonder, is there going to be some sort of a Jamie Campbell Bower group op that they feel is going to sell pretty well, and they don't want to sell a bunch of solo ops before they can announce that?
There's two directions they can go, because Jamie Campbell Bower has two credits that mean anything. One is more likely, dramatically more likely, which is Stranger Things, right? That's much more likely. Correct. I suspect they'll do a Stranger Things group, and they'll have to put him in that. What I would love, the answer to that.
Sweeney Todd.
The Sweeney Todd group op, right? You get Carter and Depp. You could also get what's his face, Sacha Baron Cohen. Could you imagine?
I don't think Sacha Baron Cohen is willing.
I agree with you, but I mean, if we're doing wish lists, listen, NYCC can go a long way to making up for the grievous error in not doing a Jurassic Park reunion in the past by booking Sacha Baron Cohen.
I don't know ownership and copyright and all this, but if Sacha Baron Cohen would do a Friday, Saturday, Sunday of New York Comic Con, Friday he does Borat up, Saturday Ali G, Sunday he does, I guess, the Dictator, for lack of a better third option. Bruno, sure. Can you imagine? I mean, tell me how many people
he'd make $1 million.
You'd get.
I get all three.
You'd have
make $1 million the weekend. I'm not
exaggerating. Three separate people. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go a step further. If he did those three ops and he did $1,000 each, I would get all three. That's a fact. As sick as that is, and as sick in the head as that is, it's actually true.
I would have to do Borat, because that I'm telling you, I think I've told this story on the air, but I've never laughed harder in a movie theater. I was watching Borat opening weekend, and the person sitting next to me was like a very vocal Jewish person that was also like outwardly and angrily offended and was like flipping out, and his friends were like laughing at him. And it just made the experience, the awkwardness of how upset the person was getting and how mad they were getting and how much their friend was like mocking them. Like, lovingly, I guess. Like, it just made the whole thing so much like funnier. It was like a social experiment type of humor. I was like on the brink of like urinating in the theater. That's how hard I was laughing. So Borat, I would need.
Yeah, I saw Borat on opening weekend with like my brother and my sister-in-law. I was sitting next to my sister-in-law, and I remember the two of us were laughing so hard, and like I had so much tears in my eyes that I missed half the scenes. I had to watch it again because I was laughing so hard.
I don't know how it would feel if I watched it today at home, like without that experience. Is it still like a complete banger? I don't know. I
think largely it is, but I do think seeing something that was definitely a community experience, seeing it in the theater like that. Borat was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in the movie theater. But I also had a great time, and I'll this is an interesting one. So I saw Snakes on a Plane on opening night, right? And that movie's horrible. But I got to tell you, I went on opening night. The theater was packed, sold out, and people showed up with like rubber snakes and were throwing them around the movie theater. They screamed. It was a chaos, but it was a blast. It was so much fun. I think there are certain movies that just the experience makes it.
Yeah, but listen, the Sacha Baron Cohen thing I just painted, that might be the drum I start beating on for like your Jurassic Park. That would be badass. It really
Oh
would.
my god!
I just don't know if
And
he owns the characters. Ali G might be a property of
wait,
HBO.
no, he owns the characters because
Even,
he had a show on British television before he brought it to HBO.
okay. That would be sick. And if he loves money, which he's a human being, I imagine he does. I mean, what the hell? Come on. How much could you hate the fans that you can't make that kind of bread?
Apparently, he's gotten easier getting autographs lately. I've seen more of him pop up recently. So who knows? But they're holding back Jamie Campbell-Bower for a reason. The most likely reason because I don't think they're having an imaginative year. It's probably Stranger Things. But if they wanted to do something wild and they could do a Sweeney Todd reunion, that would be extraordinary. Because Carter hasn't done a show around these parts. You know, I think she'd be great.
I think the more realistic option is that he's probably just not able to fully confirm and commit to the date, and they're going to end up canceling him, and they don't want to deal with refunds. That's probably option A, but I mean, option B, I guess, would be the Stranger Thing.
I mean, yes, you're probably right, but allow a man to dream, will you?
Sure. My apologies. I wouldn't want to yuck your yum.
There you go. Now we hit our sponsorship quota for the show. Some announcements for signings and cons. So Dan Aykroyd is now going on a book tour. Not too many stops announced so far, only a couple. Texas, California, New Jersey, and New York. We've already purchased our tickets for the New Jersey signing, so we will be there. You were all paranoid that he's not going to do photo ops. I've never seen an Aykroyd appearance where he didn't do a photo op.
I mean, I'm just in general paranoid. I like my chances at bookends in general. And if there's any place you got to sort of make your own luck, I mean, that big tall table is pretty good. The Strand was one of my worst experiences. I don't think it was really their fault, but that William Daniels book signing, I was out there for hours and he was miserable. And then they like changed the op policy. Like when you got up there, they're like, oh, he's not doing this. He's not doing extras, whatever the hell it was that they changed. I never race out of my way to go to the Strand. Plus, the Strand is sort of leaning on it being a talk and a conversation. I would think he's going to sign afterward, but I mean, it wasn't outwardly clear. I didn't investigate because I really don't care enough to. But I think bookends is the way to go. Austin and Santa Monica are not even signings at all. So this seems to be the only time he's touching a pen, and that is the focal point of the event. So if you want him, this is where you should probably be.
And for us, we've been carrying on about having missed him so many times in the past. It's time to rectify that.
Agreed.
Rhode Island added a bunch of names, and we'll talk about them after. So we have Christopher Lloyd, David Silverman from The Simpsons, Bill Zabka from Karate Kid and Cobra Kai, Ari Millen from Orphan Black, Saraya Page from WWE, Ralph Macchio, Kevin Durand. What the hell is going on in Rhode Island, man?
I'm not going to lie, the coolest name on this list is probably David Silverman, just because I recognize that name from all the credits, and like that's kind of cool, but I don't think I'm going to get him. The Karate Kid, Cobra Kai stuff, it's I don't want to say it's Walking Dead because it's not. It's definitely still has a little sizzle to it, but it's not what it was. It's not. No one there is interesting. Christopher Lloyd alone, like I mean, God forbid they're planning Michael J. Fox, then you could just forget anything else of importance. And if it says Christopher Lloyd alone, like what's the point? He's so like it's like he's listless when he's alone.
Yeah, and they've done it a million times. It's been done
a
million times already.
The only talking point that really is like interesting to me here is that Paige, an active WWE talent, is appearing at Rhode Island, and that's something we really haven't seen since Fitterman was sort of steering the ship. So I don't know how, if that's like this is some old date she had committed to before she signed that they're letting her honor. I don't know what the hell it is. It's just it's out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I don't have any explanation for it. I mean, to be honest, no one is clamoring for her that much. You know, I mean, I think, since returning, a lot of what made her interesting is kind of done. She's now getting exposed again. She's around. She's out there. She did a lot of con appearances. I don't know, man. This lineup is like, for me, might be the worst major con lineup I've ever seen. and it's sad because I love this show. And like, am I going to be in and out for Michael Douglas? What do we do if Michael Douglas cancels? Do we just not go?
I mean, I would still want to go because I need Patina Miller and other ones, but it's not good. And I would Michael Douglas canceling really knock you off your feet with surprise? I don't.
No,
it wouldn't for me. I don't. I'm not putting it out there. I don't think he will, but I mean, it wouldn't be shocking. It's not good. And I think, honestly, I think we're both kind of right. I think you're right that they're not going that hard because they've spent so much already on Michael Douglas. And I think I'm right where with Fan Expo out in the world, it changes things a little bit. You add it's like the food, the whole like Animal Kingdom. Now I said I was sharp before. Now my brain is sputtering. The hell is it called? Like the this predator eats that predator. The food web, basically.
The
food chain. There it is. You add a big predator into the mix, it changes things.
But so everyone just rolls over and takes it. That's what it does.
I guess I don't know.
Everyone books Christopher Lloyd for his freaking 75th appearance this year. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, Steel City going kind of off the beaten path here, booking Bootsy Collins. I don't know what to make of this. He's either going to draw great or have no one at the table.
He's going to draw horribly. He was featured on a Snoop Dogg song I was listening to the other day in the car, and I actually thought about Bootsy Collins. Like, is he alive? Why doesn't he ever come out? And I was thinking about him, which was really weird. And then he was announced, and that's wild. I'm not going to Pittsburgh. I honestly, even if I was at the show, if his price was like absurd, I don't even know for sure if I'd get him. I probably would, but I mean, I wouldn't go pay hundreds of dollars for him. But it's definitely cool. This is what Steel City does better than anyone. Like you'll probably see Bootsy Collins nowhere else ever again. But somehow they're able to sort of make these contacts and get the person out that you would never think of otherwise.
Yeah, Steel City is a super interesting con. They're able to do these strange things and that I'm just always consistently impressed with. Not enough to get me anywhere, obviously, this time around for sure. But Fan Expo Chicago added Michael Johnston.
Very big.
He added elsewhere and canceled. Oh no! He's the Obsession guy. Yeah. So you do realize as soon as he was added, all of the original Obsession posters on online dried up immediately. Have you seen that?
Yep, I saw people asking for them.
200 and up they're going for now.
Yep,
because they vanished. So that's an interesting thing we haven't talked about too much as a consequence of people getting booked. Is their merch just dries up really fast? That's fascinating to me.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting if you're starting an Obsession project, all the posters that dry up. I think I read something that Indy Navarrete is like in talks with, she like met with like Marvel for X-Men or something. I think that girl is going to go 0 to 1,000 like instantly. And I think she may actually leapfrog that entire stage of like doing con.
And that would be unfortunate. I suspect though Fan Expo might get her out, truthfully.
You mean to Chicago or just in the future? I
think for Chicago. It's too weird to announce him by himself. It's too indie. I don't know. That's my take. Maybe I'm being naive.
I think if they can get anything, because Chicago more so even than Dallas is leaning heavily on the horror side of things. So maybe they just wanted something from Obsession. If you can't get her, he's the next best thing.
It's a hot property right now.
Hottest horror movie since maybe Terrifier, but even Terrifier was like weirder. Like Terrifier 2 made a splash in the box office. 1 really didn't.
Yeah,
I think it's even hotter than that.
Definitely, it definitely is. It was a hot property. What did you think of it?
I didn't see it yet. Believe it or not, I had to cancel my reservation, and we never got to see it.
It's all right. I wasn't like completely knocked on my ass. It was all right. It was fine. No complaints. For an indie horror movie, it's like brilliant. Anyway,
I'm in for a pro op. I don't think I'll fight the autograph lines to start like an 11x17.
As sick as it sounds, part of me wants one. If she's there, I'll get one. If she's not, I won't.
Who the hell knows?
The New Age Outlaws were added. And Demolition were added. Neither of these teams will do any business at Fan Expo. But
I think Bill and Barry, they won't do anything major. But I think they'll have a trickle. There's so much stuff out. I don't know if they've really been to Chicago since it all came out.
Weren't they just the other con was just in Chicago not that long ago? The Squared Circle Expo.
It's in Chicago.
Pretty
that
sure
accurate?
it was. Yeah, I think it was. There was something in Chicago not that long ago, wrestling wise. So anyway, I don't think they're gonna do. I saw them in Chicago at StarCast a couple years ago. Not a single person went up to the table. Not one.
Again, the merchandise matters, as you know better than most. Does it matter enough? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're setting the world on fire at a Fan Expo. Yeah, there's too much other stuff. The competition is fierce at Fan Expo. I don't know how the wrestlers do. Anyway, Fan Expo Dallas added Richard Tyson. Always fun to see Richard. I love Richard Tyson. I'm not sure he's like a Dallas Fan Expo kind of guest, but I love him. And the big story is that Fan Expo Dallas added Nic Cage, meaning that now they're booking people who are not exclusive headliners for them. They usually their MO is to book exclusive headliners, and they're not doing that. This is big.
I think you could almost. I mean, he's definitely a headliner. But they have so many headliners down there. I mean, they don't need an exclusive. They have several exclusive headliners. Like he's like, yeah, it's wild. I'm in a little bit of.
You were completely gobsmacked that they did this. You were very taken aback.
To make it worse, it was. I have to ask: did you know this news before I purchased the photo ops? Or did you wait until I purchased?
No, because you bought mine, and then I texted you after. Why would I tell you? I would tell you don't buy it if I knew.
Okay, I thought you did it made for content.
No, that's psychotic.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm not that nuts.
I bought the New York photo op, and now I have a chance to get him like 3 weeks earlier, I guess, in Dallas. And I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to get him in Dallas, which is how crazy is that? Is there any logic? No, it's normal. I mean,
if you're able to unload your NYCC photo op, it's the right decision to make.
I mean, the issue is I had a split lined up in New York that now, because you are a weirdo who won't even split a photo with your father, you're definitely not splitting one with me. So there's no split to be had. So I'm going to be paying full price on this thing. But, I mean, Nic Cage could die. Nic Cage could all of a sudden look at someone's T-shirt that they're wearing next to him and be so offended and angry that he says he's never doing another one again. He's kind of a little wacky. That's sort of his thing. So I couldn't live with myself if I'm in Dallas. I mean, I probably could live with myself, but it would annoy me. You're in Dallas at the same show he's at, and then you don't get him, and then he cancels New York and is never seen again. Like, I understand the sort of weird variables at play here for that all to come true, but stranger things have happened. So I think I got to do it. What are you going to do?
Well, I don't know what to do because now I have this friggin' ticket for NYCC that I don't know what to do with it. Maybe I'll do. I was contemplating doing the Jurassic Park team up, but I don't want to do that because it's a stupid team up. You know. The other option is I use it to buy like a BD Wong combo or whatever, you know, and I need BD Wong combo, I need Wayne Knight autograph. Maybe I'll do that. I'll push it into my autographs and then just get a Nic Cage in Dallas. I mean, in Chicago.
No, Dallas.
No, Dallas. Jesus Christ. It's a smarter play.
The show we're doing one day at is the one that we need like 6 days, and the show we're doing one day at is honestly the show we need 6 days at. So I mean. We really just need 6 days at each because they're both getting kind of crazy. Have you pre-ordered anything besides admission and like obviously hotel and airfare and everything?
Nothing.
No. We still got to lock in. I still got to lock in the Dallas hotel. When I get back from Jamaica, we're going to do that.
I thought you did it already.
No. Chicago I did. Dallas I didn't.
Yeah. We bought. Do we buy tickets for Chicago?
Chicago we did with the early entry on the 1 day, the 3-day ticket.
Right. Dallas we didn't buy yet.
No, Dallas we did nothing. Which honestly, the way Dallas is getting lineup wise, we probably
should immediately. Yeah,
probably tonight. Like when we get off, we should just do it because if they sold out for Saturday admission, would you be shocked with that lineup?
No, it's frustrating.
Yeah, that would be a nightmare. We have the damn trip booked, the parameters in place, and then we couldn't go in on Saturday. Christ Almighty, that would be bad.
What else we got? So another thing that's interesting is okay. So one of as you may, if anyone actually listens to what I say, you would know that I've been struggling with this Samasco, right? The guy from Of Mice and Men. He's Curly from Of Mice and Men. I wanted an Of Mice and Men poster, And I was like, am I really going to worry about trying to get Gary Sinise, So I bought a 11 by 17 from Of Mice and Men, pre-signed by Gary Sinise. I paid like $150 for it. There, I said what I paid. And I'm figuring, all right, I'm probably not going to get Malkovich, but I'll at least have Sinise on it. Son of a bitch, Gary Sinise is doing a signing at Bookends.
Let's be clear. There was no guarantee he was going to hit merch. None whatsoever.
Let's be honest with ourselves here. Our chances are not bad of getting Gary Sinise in that environment.
I'm not going to blow the hippo, but yeah, I don't think you would see a crowd like you saw from McConaughey and others in any area of that location. You probably would have a decent chance, but not a guarantee. And if you're starting a project or building onto a project, you kind of want the guarantee because I mean it's part of your trip. You don't want to really start rolling the dice. I think you made the right call buying what you bought.
Is it wrong that I also want to buy a full size and try and get Sinise on it at the book signing?
No, I think that's what you always wanted. I think you just went with this because it just seemed easier because he was already on it, even though you didn't love the pen and everything that they use.
I literally only did it because it was there.
Yeah, and then we're gonna get multiple pieces done and have multiple Mice of Men like you have for
sure, like Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah,
sure.
That's
fine.
Fair.
And then they also added a Boy Meets World group book signing. Danielle Fishel, Ryder Strong, and Will Friedel. They wrote a book together, really trying to milk this for all it's worth. Well, their podcast is moderately successful, so they're running with it.
I think that's what the book is for. The Pod Meets World, and it seems this is the day before Gary Sinise. And it seems like there's no ops from just like reading comments. It didn't seem like anyone was expecting, or it was like they were getting the opposite of like positive signs. If they were doing if it was like a photo op only, I would have been slightly tempted because that is a pair.
If they did pre-signed book op with the 3, to me that's a no-brainer.
I hate the trip to Bookends, but I mean, and I also hate back-to-back trips.
The trip to Bookends is so easy. I guess for me it's easier than you.
It depends when you go. I've had times, like the time I went for Charlie Sheen, I was stuck in Bronx traffic for like a while. It was a pretty damn long ride. The time we went for what's his name, I mean, I guess that wasn't bad. We went for Jet Li.
That was cool. Aside from the fact that you drove over a nail.
Chasing free Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Those were expensive sandwiches at the end of the day.
How funny does that always happen, right?
Yeah.
What else we got? We talked a little bit last week about the Laura Dern private signing. I still have not decided what I want to do. If I want to send away, I think a lot of it's going to depend on what the dates are for it. If I can maneuver the dates, here's what I'm going to say now. If I can maneuver the dates around NYCC, I'll probably send in for it.
Fair. That's fair. I think you have to. I really think you have to. The only option would be if you would just say, like, screw the 11 by 17. I'm selling it because it doesn't bring me happiness being so imperfect. And you would just say, I have that poster with the 3 and you call it a day. Or dare I say you try to get Spielberg on it through like a consignment or something.
Well, the poster with the 3, I'm going to add the other character. I'm going to add Knight, the kids, and Wong onto it also. But just no Gaga, no extras. I
think that's the right move. One could argue you could probably sell the 11 by 17 with Spielberg to sort of fund all of that, but then you wouldn't have Spielberg. It's a really nice Spielberg.
It's a beautiful Spielberg. It is a freaking gorgeous Spielberg. That's the truth. Really one of the nicer ones I've seen. So it's like, I don't want to get rid of it.
The sad thing is, I think you probably could have done more on a frame job. I think you could almost argue now with Alan Grant dead that you maybe should have kept it just Spielberg, and you would have had the big poster as the project, and that would have just been a clean Spielberg, like you could have framed and hung next to it.
I mean, who knew? Who would know? I really, you gotta understand. I started because crazy as it sounds, I started buying into this combo god nonsense that we put it into the work, we put it out there into the universe. Things will happen. Come on, how many times have we talked about stuff and then things happen?
Things did happen. He died.
Yeah, I know, clearly. New York Comic Con has added a bunch of names, nothing crazy. They added Nancy Allen from RoboCop. They added a bunch of names from Pokemon XY. PWTs, they added a bunch of names to their table over the course of the whole weekend. Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, X-Pac, Orange Cassidy, Megan Bain, Wardlow, Tommy Dreamer, and the Rock and Roll Express. You know, your typical PWTs type names who are, you know, whatever.
I don't get how they're going to make any money with almost any of those names. And it's also kind of surprising that they were able to book Ricky Morton without Kerry Morton sort of just, you know, pork barreling his way into the booking.
NYCC book, you know, the vendor tables. I mean, PWT has a pretty big booth. I imagine these are loss leaders to get people to their booth so they can sell shirts and stuff. I really think that's what it is. They do a big booth in the all the way on the, what is it? It's the south side of the building. I think it is. Yeah, I think it's the south side of the building is where their booth is located. It's pretty big. All right, Wicked Ink Wednesday. I did the picks this week. Big Chad posted his Sideshow Bob figure signed by Kelsey Grammer. It is, in fact, Big Chad's Sideshow Bob figure signed by Kelsey Grammer. When he posted it, that really made me excited to try and get Kelsey Grammer at that bar. And then lo and behold, we got the autographs but couldn't get the op at all. I have that horrific, like, blurry nonsense op that I got. Invalid nonsense. But I did get the good autograph from that. And then later on rectified the op at Bookends. Matt posted his Nightmare on Elm Street 3 vinyl, that Dokken vinyl, signed by Robert Englund. That was awesome. And then my favorite item of the week, I don't know if you even saw it or really took note of how significant it is. Andrew posted his Mighty Mighty Boss Tones baseball, signed by the lineup that released that 1997 album that sold 1 million copies, that like kind of was the anthem of my high school experience. Are you a Mighty Mighty Boss Tones? Are you familiar with the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones at all?
I didn't even know they existed until just now.
You've seen Clueless, right?
The TV show, not the movie.
What? Just
I was a Clueless TV show fan. I never really watched
the TV show.
There was a TV show with a different Cher.
You never seen the Clueless movie?
I don't think so. Believe it or not.
In any case, they were heavily featured on the Clueless soundtrack, which blew them up. And then they had that single off the Clueless soundtrack, and then they had The Impression That I Get was like the monster single that sold that record sold 1 million copies. The platinum album. Albums do not sell 1 million copies anymore. It was massive at the time. Anyway, photo with Friday. So Greg 2600 posted his shot with Shania Twain, and he went to a meet and greet this week. He called it the best meet and greet he's ever been to.
That's the most positive thing Greg's ever said. Greg 2600.
It's true. He's always negative. Leo Dean posted his shot with Billy Bob. It makes me nervous. Did we miss a Billy Bob appearance? Is that what happened here?
Well, there was a one I thought I wasn't going to do because it was like I thought it was like today. It was like the day before. I think it was too close. I would have to take another day, and I'm already taking a week. So I think that's what it was. No. We knew about something in Jersey.
So, of course, Leo was wearing his Marked Out Radio shirt, which looked, by the way, very stylish on him. I don't know if you noticed that.
It did. I actually think Billy Bob may have been sporting a little bit of an erection seeing Leo in that shirt.
I knew you were going to go there. And I'm going to say I'm confirming I did see a visible erection.
I mean, honestly, I think I had one when I saw the shirt too. So I mean, join the party.
It's this very contagious kind of thing, you know. And then finally, Matt Balk, he posted his picture with Moo Deng, probably the biggest celebrity of the week. Moo Deng was a literal hippo baby who went mega viral on the internet. And when he went to Thailand, he took a shot. It was not valid, though. Moo Deng was not looking at the camera.
He really should have jumped down into the enclosure and, made sure it was valid.
Risked certain death by hippo.
I mean, yeah, he would have been, breaching the hippo to get the hippo. It would have been troubling, but I mean, it might have been worth it. But still, very sick.
Like hippoception here with going with hippos here. But I've made many Moo Deng jokes off of this show. I mean, Moo Deng was a massive phenomenon online, and lots of people at work still talk about. They make Moo Deng references. So anyway, If you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, please reach out to markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out Autograph Collecting Community on Facebook. All links are in the show notes on Facebook and Substack. If you want your event, product, or brand advertised on episodes of Marked Out Radio, reach out to us today at markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com. Like Leo Dean, get your Marked Out Radio merch on our ProWrestlingTees.com shop. See the link below or check out the pin post on Facebook. And if you like what you're hearing, please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts and leave a rating or a review. So I wasn't sure what the main topic of the show would be until this morning when I went on Facebook and I noticed that today, which is, just so you, in case you're wondering, we're recording this on July 31st. Today is our 18-year friendversary on Facebook. Did you know it was that long?
I didn't.
It was a funny thing for me because I saw it and I was like, oh, of course it's 18 years. Then I was like, Christ, it's 18 years.
It's funny. Our friendship, I always originate the whole thing. I'm trying to think. I think about knowing you sort of going back to that Great American Bash in Nassau Coliseum when you bribed me with a ringside chair for me to get you, give you hotel information, hippo information, if you will. You asked me to blow the hippo for a free chair, which I did. And then I spent much of the show worried that you were going to rip me off and not give me the chair. I wouldn't be able to find you.
But you realize I had met you before that.
I know, but I didn't. I trusted you enough now to make a hippo for a chair trade. So I was nervous about it. But yes, I met you at Chiller before. But then I also saw you, which you have no recollection of the thing happening when Jake the Snake was shirtless and drug infested with Balls Mahoney.
I was at that show. Yeah,
but it was out like in your parents' neck of the woods. It was out there. It was somewhere it wasn't like east, but it was like sort of like in the like Floyd area east. And you have like, at least I don't think you ever you've like insisted in the past that I wasn't there, or it wasn't you thought it was in Ronkonkoma. It wasn't.
I thought it was Ronkonkoma or Deer Park. I don't remember, but I do remember what was it. So that show in particular is infamous for a reason, right? Not just Jake being wasted.
No,
there was a Nazi German villain tag team that was waving a Nazi flag on that show. So it's kind of an infamous indie show.
Oh, true. I guess I remember.
Do you remember that? It was psychotic. I remember when they came out and the air was just sucked out of the room because it was such a crazy thing to see. It was like in 2007 or 2008 or whatever it was.
I still remember the indie shows when Big Vito was the Nazi character. Granted, that was, you're talking 15 years earlier. Different world. Yeah,
by 2008, I mean, with the internet and stuff, it was crazy to do that.
Somehow I don't remember. I don't remember that. I might have been at that point freaking out about Jake the Snake. I was trying to make sure I got him at the merch table. It was something I shouldn't have had anxiety about, but I had my super ticket for Legends of the Ring, and I was afraid Jake was going to die before Legends of the Ring, which, I mean, 20 years later, sounds kind of silly, but if you lived in that era or any era with Jake the Snake, him living to see the next day was never a certainty.
It's hard to articulate how bad he was at that show. He was stumbling over, falling down. It was awful. I remember though. I got my combo with Jake the Snake, which I think was $20 or $30, and then I wanted to get the photo with Balls Mahoney, and Balls just had me give him a 10, and then he jumped in the picture with me and Jake. So my photo from that event was actually me, Balls, and Jake.
I think that's got to be a photo with Friday One Day too.
And Balls himself was loaded out of his mind.
Oh yeah,
as he often was. But I didn't get the graph from Balls. So I had nothing. That's where I got Jake to sign my Classic Superstars figure.
But it makes you wonder, I guess, because July 20th was the Great American Bash. So I guess we became friends on Facebook after that, but 11 days after that. So after you didn't rip me off on the chair, I guess we became Facebook friends, and here we are today entertaining the masses.
Yeah. And I mean, what ended up happening, so in case sort of people realize the evolution of this, so we really started carpooling to cons. That's how it was. So because before you were driving, so you would get dropped off at Toys R Us, and I would come to the Toys. Yeah, and I would come to the Toys R Us parking lot, pick you up, and then we would drive to whatever. Well, because it was originally like one con, and then there was almost a con a month at some points. that we were going to.
Which is
It's
weird because we did more cons now, definitely more cons now than ever. But it kind of felt like it was more like prolific of a pace then. I'm not really sure why.
Well, it was all the wrestling cons. And so it was a lot more social because we knew all the people. So it was like Cinemania, K&S, Legends of the Ring, this, that. I will say it was shocking to me that you weren't doing like Chiller and Monster Mania because I was driving to those shows. You could have just carpooled.
Well, Monster Mania I never did because you would stay the weekend, and then
That's true.
So there wasn't really a carpool opportunity. And I think at that point I was probably less sick, and I think my collecting needs were different. And I think Chiller, I thought, who the hell needs Leslie Nielsen? He chased The Undertaker at SummerSlam 94. And, like, I'm going to go to Jersey for that. And I think stuff like that. And now it's like, what the hell were you thinking? It was ridiculous.
Well, also,
ridiculous
let's be honest, though. You were photo op only back then.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's what it was. Your whole collecting was so different. And so let's talk about that. Because you would buy super tickets for the wrestling cons. All you cared about were the photo ops. So you would often get autographs on more or less throwaway junk.
I mean, at the time, I thought they were cool, like the encyclopedia. The encyclopedia is another thing like the Sopranos book, that if I could extract those signatures and put them on Hasbros and different things, that would be so awesome. I really made bad decisions. But yeah, the photo op was king. I would have items basically just as like they were like, you know,
because you paid for them. They were
yeah,
included.
I needed something. They were completely useless appendages, but I would bring them because I needed to. And I remember I said this before, and I give them the flowers quite often. But I would see Lanza. I can remember Lanza waiting for Dusty with the Hasbro, and insane. That's when I should have been doing the Hasbros. Granted, they wouldn't have been done in paint, but I mean, Black Sharpie would have been just as whatever. It would have been fine to have all the ones I could have had, and the ones I do have, I could have had much cheaper.
And the graphs they were included. You Dusty, Piper, all these graphs you paid for them in the super ticket.
I don't even want to think about Lanza on the show graphic. If you remember what you paid for that Dusty Hasbro for Cinemania. It's probably what, $70 back then. It was always a little bit of a rare boy.
It was more than that because I sold the loose one for like $70 by that point. It was more than that.
But now it's several thousand.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's not anywhere near the ballpark of what it is. But he paid.
Like,
I'm sure he paid a few hundred. I would be shocked if he didn't.
Well, Lance, if you remember, please comment.
Yeah, I would love to hear what that was, what that ran him. So anyway, at some point, because I've never actually asked you this question. At what point did you start becoming more serious about the autographs?
COVID, when I was buying and selling, mostly selling, I had all sorts of. But
what changed in your psyche?
I'll tell you what changed in my psyche. I was watching the live Facebook auctions with Marty and Ken and Bucky Sokol and Andrew and everyone. I know your skin's crawling that I'm giving free shout outs. But
I hate it.
Yeah.
I literally hate it.
And I would see the different things. And I at first wasn't really buying anything. I wasn't selling anything. I was just watching. And I would see different stuff and be like, oh, I wish I had done that. I wish I had done that.
But you knew this stuff existed before. Is it because it was just the volume of watching it? Or
I think so. And then I started selling the crap I had. That was when I could go through an 8x10 binder and I could make money. I could sell all the figures I had in storage in the house that I didn't really need. I had like mock, like Ruthless Aggressions and classics and deluxe and all these different things. I sold them. And it was COVID, so I was making pretty good money, especially when the initial buy-in was so lost like to time. It wasn't like I was paying anything back. It felt like all found money.
It was the garage sale junk, basically.
Yeah. So I was going crazy. And then I started thinking, well, crap, I wish I had that. And then I started buying little things. And then I was watching, then the talent started coming out. Even though Ken was pretty early, Ken had the people out when they were really risking their lives with COVID. They were doing all sorts of things in backyards and stuff. And I started thinking, watching them, I was watching them sign on the virtuals. And then I decided that once it started getting back to being in person, I'm like, ooh, I should start these like 11x17 and and honestly, I have zero regrets. A lot of those I filled up when the pricing was pre-COVID pricing, and then I bulked it out on top of that. I paid a lot of money in general because I got so many pieces done by these people. It's like, you you buy 1,000 peanuts at the grocery store, you're still going to have a decent little like bill, but I didn't pay much. And then I started just getting the crap I wanted. And things like Hasbro's, I was even later to. I could have done better then with Hasbro's. Not much, but a little bit. And I'm like, oh, I'll never get Hasbro's because it's not practical. They're too expensive. I already have them loose. What if the glue gives out? All these things, some of which are very true, and others are also probably very true. And now I'm just off to the races, and I do everything that makes me happy, and even stuff that doesn't make me happy, just because what would I feel if I didn't do it? I guess, and here we are.
Yeah, I mean, my collecting journey is a little bit different than yours in that I was really I would say the literal opposite. I was more about autographs than I was about photo ops. In fact, there were plenty of people I didn't get photos with because I just didn't care to, or I would forget sometimes, which sounds insane now, but it's true. And and I was getting my thing initially. Well, so in wrestling, it was belts and figures. What actually got me into, it's funny because I wish I'd asked Terrence about this. I believe, he kind of talked about it a little bit, but a lot of those early Legends and Cinemania cons were based on the classic Superstars figures, right? That's who they were booking. Yeah. So I had no idea those figures existed. And I went in Toys R Us one day, randomly. I was with my brother, I think. God knows why I was in there. And I saw the Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior 2-pack, and I had a heart attack. I couldn't believe that those existed. And I lost my mind. I was like, those are so cool. And then basically my brother, he bought me a bunch of them for like Christmas or my birthday or something that year. I got a bunch of the which are now would be very expensive, those old ones. And I was like, well, then when I found out that some of these you can get, like Jake the Snake I had, I'm like, shoot, I can get this signed. And so I really started, for wrestling, I started doing that. At the same time, running parallel to this, I had gotten a replica belt as a Christmas present for my aunt. It had never any intention of getting it signed. It was the Big Eagle belt. And I had seen an advertisement. There was a Rey Mysterio car dealership signing. And long story short, I went and stood in this tremendous line, see me Rey Mysterio, and got him to sign my belt. And so then I was like, oh, I got to keep getting the belt signed. And then I started buying other belts of all kinds of weird varieties to get them signed. And I had a huge belt collection. So I was collecting belts and getting those signed. And I was getting wrestling figures signed, classic Superstars figures. And that was it for wrestling. And then when I started going to Monster Mania, I started getting movie posters signed because Dave was big on booking reunions. So one of maybe even the first show I went to, they had a Texas Chainsaw Massacre reunion. And I had no intention of getting anything Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then I went to their panel because it was always Friday autograph, Saturday panel, Sunday autograph. That was me and Ted, that was our thing when we went to these shows. And so I got my autograph. I don't remember who the hell else I got on the autographs on Friday. Actually, I think Roddy Piper was one of them. I got Piper on my They Live poster. And then Saturday was the panels, and I thought that the Texas Chainsaw panel was hilarious, and so I made the decision to go and buy a poster from the vendor room, a reproduction, and get all of them on there on Sunday. And I paid like $10 or $15 a graph for all those guys, and of course they were all personalized because why would I ever sell them? I mean, they weren't worth anything. They were $10 each, Yeah, that was the logic. Now I'm like sick to my stomach looking. I mean, my Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's a reproduction poster, but I also have Toby Hooper on there, the director who died. I also have why can't I think of the Leatherface's Gunnar Hansen on there, who died. So I mean, my Texas Chainsaw Massacre poster is insane. It's all personalized. But that was my thing. I would get whatever posters with the reunions at Monster Mania. I would get everyone to sign them because the autographs were cheap. $20, $15, $10. So you can get a whole poster done for $100, $150,
You can't beat that at the time.
No. And then so my thing was always autographs. It was always. And then the only reason why I stopped was I started amassing too much stuff. So in around 2012, I basically sold everything. Oh, not my posters. I sold all my figures, all of them. And I really never intended to. I sold almost all my belts. I sold all my figures. And I never really intended to get going again until COVID and the Funko Pops started happening. and I really started buying with much greater frequency around there. And also that was around the time when I was buying to resell, and that I was reselling, but then I was holding, and now here we are today. I have way too much stuff, and unfortunately the market has gone a little soft, and so I'm holding some of this stuff. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little nervous about some of it, because the market is soft on autographs. But it's my collection, and it is what it is. And I'm not gonna lie, I had intended to sell more this summer, and I just haven't. I've been busy. I've been traveling. I do want to take some time to make some sales before the summer is over. That's for sure. Which means photographing and listing the stuff all over again. And who knows where things. I'm definitely being much more discriminating about what I want to get done. But here we are, 18 years in.
I'll tell you what kind of depresses me is that all these figures you're describing, I was in the same Toys R Us aisles at the time buying them. Many times when I would be dropped off at the Holbrook Toys R Us, I would go in either before or after to figure hunt. The problem was I was tearing these things open. I had all the classic superstores open, and I sold them during COVID for the most part. And I don't regret that. I didn't want a loose collection of everything, but I kind of wish I had just gotten them signed. Maybe I would have still sold a lot of them. I don't know. But, I was already buying the damn figures and the super tickets. I just chose to get crappy things signed and rip open the figures.
What were you doing with the open figures exactly?
I would build rings, and I'd put the rings on shelves, and I would have the different like little sets set up. The ring with the figures in the ring, different shelves. I would get the little the risers for spices and whatnot that you'd put like for a shelf that you could see everything without it all being just And I would have the Cena shelf, the Mysterio shelf. So I would have to buy every Ruthless Aggression.
Yeah, that I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't have said that out loud if I were you, but it's too late.
Yeah.
I'm not bleeping it.
I'm proud of it.
Well, it's all gone now. It's like it never happened.
Pretty much. I still have my childhood stuff. I have my loose Hasbros. I have the loose stuff, from the early '90s, and a couple of the market, kind of collapsed on the Ruthless Aggression. So I definitely have totes somewhere with more. That at some point I'll probably just do a big lot, it's 50 for $100, just get rid of them just to clear space. But for a while there, I was actually getting, I was profiting on some of the damn things I was selling, even loose. You'd get better prices than you actually paid. But just hearing what you did.
Let's be honest. COVID pricing really is a fascinating thing that should be studied. The inflationary impact that COVID had on the prices of this stuff cannot be understated.
The market still hasn't recovered.
I think the autograph market is adjusting.
It's adjusting on the secondary market, but what you're paying on the primary, the first-hand market is they're still pricing it like COVID pricing is going on, and it's not. And that's just the situation where you're not going to give up any leverage. So they got accustomed to making the money. The COVID pricing for the celebrity at the table will never go away. It's just for those of us paying it. We don't get to benefit in being able to sell it or feel like we're getting our money's worth in quite the same way.
Definitely. Definitely things have changed, but we're still, I think we're starting to see a softening in the secondary market. I am seeing that.
Oh, the secondary market it's not quite out there. It'll ever be as bad as it was when we were at our peak. And, Terrence would have been giving away Austin's for $15. It'll never be that, thank God. But it's definitely weak. It's just, when does these table pricing sort of come down as a result of that? The answer would be when all us addicts out there would stop paying the crazy prices because it's just not worth it. But that'll never happen because it damn sure is worth it, because it's worth nothing really. It's all stupid, and we just do it for joy and compulsion.
As it goes, right? All right. So let's get to the listener questions. First one, and you have no idea what these are because
you picked them.
I picked them. So first one comes from Leo Dean. He got his photo with Friday. He gets a question now because of his fabulous representation of the marked out gear. So his question was, a few weeks back you discussed the Eve Plum book signing. Can you give an example where you got an in-person autograph or photo and the guest was rude or dismissive and it made you so mad or disgusted that you were no longer a fan? I have a specific answer to this.
I do as well, and I kind of brought it up already today. William Daniels, Mr. Feeney. he was kind of, at least for my generation, your brother's generation, you were too old for it. Not trying to age shame you, but just pointing it out. Mr. Feeney was kind of like America's teacher. Like, I think I know, at least for me, like you'd watch him and he was kind of like the teacher, grandfather type of character that I think you just sort of saw and felt a connection to. And obviously, you don't think William Daniels is really Mr. Feeney, because that would just be insane. Some actors play themselves in every movie and show, but he isn't really one of them. He's his own person. And it just so happens his own person is kind of gruff, and I guess Feeney had gruff characteristics, but the actual William Daniels is not nice. He's not warm and fuzzy. He looks like he'd rather be run over by a train than interact with people. Yet he does the signings. I mean, I guess that's a good thing. I didn't lose my fandom. I can still watch Boy Meets World. Not that I have in decades, but I still, like, my memories of Mr. Feeney are still positive. But I definitely didn't walk out of that signing. I thought there would be a little, I don't want to say sentimental or meaningful, because that's not who I am in these encounters. But I kind of thought it would be like an experience that you would say, oh, that was nice. I met Mr. Feeney. And like, it really wasn't that.
So I have a stock answer to this too. I mentioned this incident briefly months ago. When I was at Bamboozle Fest, this would have been in the early 2000s. I had a meet and greet with Third Eye Blind. I was first in line for Third Eye Blind, because I really wanted the photo op. And I was willing to forego the autograph in favor of the photo op instead. And they were so hostile and so rude and so dismissive that I really struggled with. And what's crazy is they were brought on to headline Bamboozle as a nostalgia act, right? Third Eye Blind was massive when, in the 90s. And then it completely fell off the face of the earth, And so they were brought on as nostalgia, and they did very well as a nostalgia act. You would have thought they were king of the castle with how they were. And to this day, I will never forget how I felt treated so. And this was not me trying to get them on the street. This was literally at a meet and greet, and they were hostile. Isn't that wild?
I don't think they understand what the word nostalgia means in the meet and greet community. Like, if you're coming to a concert as like a nostalgia act, I don't know if anyone should really treat fans hostilely in a paid environment, but I mean, damn sure shouldn't be the nostalgia act.
It wasn't a paid environment. It was like free, but it was like scheduled. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like you didn't jump out of the hotel lobby at them.
No. So it's pretty, to this day, I don't like those guys. They kind of ruined my fandom, to be totally honest. So there you go. Any others jump to mind besides William Daniels?
I think just that. I mean, Sean William Scott's always a good one, but I mean, I wasn't.
Why is it that I wasn't bothered by that? For reasons I don't quite understand. When I think about that makes me laugh.
It just, at that point, I wasn't that experienced with combo hunting. I really I had such good experience at that spot before. And he was, quote unquote nice. He was supposed to be nice. I just didn't expect. It was like that first time that you're like, holy crap, I wasted my time. This train ticket, this is standing here. Everything I did was a waste. And that's probably the equivalent of like your Palpatine moment, where you're truly evaluating yourself. And you're like, what could I have been doing with my time instead? And I don't know. Now, I mean, if it happened to me today, I probably would find it funny, or I'd find it interesting for content or whatever. I don't really it doesn't really affect me. But at that point, it's like, I guess if you ask a girl out and she rejects you, it's the first time you ever did it. It means more than if you're standing in like a bar asking 30 girls out a night. Like, it's like you're desensitized. That's about as good as
part of it was in that moment. It was like sort of shocking how he did it, because he very much blanked it. He didn't say anything. He just pretended we weren't there.
I think that's also part of it, which I guess connects to the whole being rejected thing. When you have good street meet experiences, it's actually, you feel good. You actually could feel better than you would at a con, because you're not paying. You don't have that feeling which you could have of oh, well, I'm paying for this. I'm paying for a person to take a picture with me. And it feels so organic and it feels realer in a way. But when you're treated like the dirt that you essentially are on the street as a street grapher, and I say that as a street grapher of decades, like I think I'm allowed to, to call myself and others dirt because I'm in that community. You start like that's the first time you kind of see the mirror, and you're like, "Whoa, that's what I look like." Like I'm really like this. Like it just gives you a whole existential crisis.
Yeah, I guess that's an interesting way of looking at it. I get it. All right, next question is from C-Rat. I'm teeing you up on this question. You've had a few guests on the show. Who were your favorites and why?
All right. I hate the people that get asked for 1 or 2 and they give 4. So he asked for guests. I'm a few guests. A couple is 2, so a few is 3. So I'm going to take this very literally. I'm going to give 3.
Wait, no. He said 1. Who are your individual favorites? Meaning my favorite and your favorite. 1. You get 1.
Oh, 1. Okay. Oh, I almost am trying to be so literal and also getting tired now. I almost screwed the whole thing up. Okay.
Yep.
Number 1. I'm going to be completely honest. And we had some stinkers. We had some that were whatever. And then we had, great one. I'm not going to go into any. I'm not going to be disparaging here. I think I'm going to go with the interview with Ken. Because frankly, I really didn't know what Ken was going to give us. I didn't know how deep he would go. I didn't know how willing he would really be to sort of share things that would maybe paint him in a human light. Like there's you have the promoters out there, as we always joke about, that could book Pink and Stink from the Survivor Series 93 team, and they'll say they made $8,000 because God forbid they don't seem like giant successes. And Ken was open with his failures, with his successes. And I remember we were, as we are with a lot of guests, we're like, well, how the hell are we going to make this work for an entire episode? What if it's not flowing well?
And we talked for like 4 hours, 3 hours, some crazy amount.
Ken like blew through dinner. He had dinner like 11 o'clock that night because we kept going, and it was really, really, really good. And that's what sticks out for me.
So you know what I'm gonna say, right?
I'm pretty sure. I think it's gonna be part 1, not part 2.
Right. So my favorite guest, and this is gonna be to the dismay of some people, is Class 316. And that's why I meant part 1, not part 2. But the second interview was not great.
He would have been on my list when I first was interpreting it wrong. He would have been on my 3.
I think, I think Steve is just a case study of all kinds of things in this world. I think he's a fascinating human being to talk to. I think he opened up in ways that most people are not willing to. He's a lot. You could say a lot of things about Mr. Class 316, but he is an open book. In the most interesting ways possible. You may disagree with him, you may not like him, but he's always very like honest, almost to a fault, And I in that first interview, I had such a good time talking to him. I truly did. The second one, no, that was hard to get through. But I had such a good time. I was laughing and he's carrying on, and I thought it was great. I love seeing Steve and talking to Steve in public, and he's very funny. He's very sincere, and I think he is, to me, what I love about talking to him is that he is the hobby. He is the hobby. Everyone in this hobby is Steve in some way or another. And my favorite part of it is they all frantically run from that. They all desperately try not to be Steve, but they all are. And that's so funny to me. Like, instead of just recognizing, okay, this is a little bit of a Steve-like element of my character, maybe I want to like make an alteration here. No, they don't do that. They all run from it and they pretend like it's not them, but it is them. They are Steve, and Steve is them. And I just think that's funny.
I don't want to push back because I agree with 99% of what you said, but it just makes me laugh because you said how he's honest to a fault. And honestly, he is in ways. There's ways that he's vulnerable about things that you probably shouldn't be vulnerable about. If you're that sick in the head, you probably should have enough shame that you wouldn't want to broadcast it. But then there's other ways where it's like, where are you from?
Well, yeah, but that's a shtick. That's funny. To me, that's funny. I don't care about that. Like,
it's not
it doesn't mean
necessarily
it.
a shtick, though. I mean, he's hyperventilated over things in private if he feels something's going to be exposed. So it's not all shtick. It's mental illness.
Yes.
And it's also like him being evasive about certain things and also honest about other things. I don't even know if he is really. I think to him, the stuff he's honest about would be the average person that'll be like, oh, I think Bumblebee is the best brand of tuna. But if you ask them what their social security number is, they'd be like, no, I'm not telling you. I think to him, this personal stuff he goes on about is inconsequential stuff that anyone would be honest about. And it so happens he's so warped from reality, he doesn't realize he's being honest about stuff that's like actually like meaningful.
Possibly true. All of this is true. But that the fact that you're able to debate this about a person is interesting.
If someone, not a family member, let's imagine someone comes up to us today and you think they could be a genuine listener and a contributor of the show, and you'd want to like cultivate them and their fandom in the show. Would Class 316 Part 1, would that be the episode you would say, this is what I want you to get your feel for what we are from?
Oh, God, no. Absolutely not.
That's how I viewed my answer for Ken. I think there could be more debauchery and laughs. There probably weren't a ton of laughs in that episode in comparison to other episodes. But I think that's what I would want people to sort of judge us on. That we're looking within the business and we're trying to be introspective and understand things and dissect and analyze. That was my answer. Class was a train wreck of epic proportions that was awesome. But I wouldn't tell people to judge us off that as a first taste.
I agree with all of that. That being said, my favorite is really Steve was one of my favorite people in all of these cons because of he makes me laugh all the time. I enjoy seeing him out at the shows. You know, he's very funny. I think, but
I do love that everything he like BS's about is like not stuff that really matters in a social like way. If he hates your guts, he's kind of going to show it. He's very genuine. He's real. When he sees you, the happiness of like he's actually happy. Yep. As are we. Like I do appreciate that when you have all these fake hellos and handshakes and brothers and like, you know, it's not that. He is genuinely like happy. Granted, he tries to use you in ways with splits. For, you know, he's not all just, you know, openly happy to see people with no ulterior motives. But in general, he's real, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, and he's one of the most generous people. It's not about that. I don't care. He could be a complete jerk. He's not, but he could be a complete jerk. But I still think that first interview was so fun. I just had a blast doing it. You know what it was? I was going in expecting nothing, and then we had this very interesting, almost moving conversation. And I was like, Jesus, I just didn't see it coming.
That episode made me realize that we kind of got the hang of the interview thing, which we certainly didn't in some of those early interviews at all.
And then the final question. So thanks, C-Rat, for that one. The final question, a Jack Proctor special. I was laughing out loud when I pulled this question from the list. So the time has come to reap the rewards of decades of collecting, and you're going to sell your entire collection except for one item that you'll hang in your hallway as a reminder of the hobby you once loved. What is the item and why? I think Jack Proctor has a way with words. I was cracking up when I initially read it. I think it's
even better when you hear it in your head with like a Scottish accent.
Absolutely. So go ahead. So what item? You're selling everything. You're in a wheelchair. You're confined to a bed. You can't enjoy this stuff anymore. It's being sold out from under you. You beg, just please let me keep one item. What is the one item?
There's several ways I could take this, but I'm going to take it one way. I'm going to take it one way.
You always answer these questions the same. There's several ways I could do it. But, all right, so go ahead. Good. What's the answer?
I'm going with the Robin Williams Dead Poets Society Laserdisc.
Not Flubber.
Not Flubber. No. And I'll tell you why. If I'm going for true significance, I could argue. I think I could actually argue quite accurately that the Dead Poets Society teacher of Robin Williams is part of what inspired me to think teaching might actually be something I would enjoy, and that I would feel some sort of a positive, warm, fuzzy feeling from being able to be involved in people's lives and hopefully make things better for people. So I think that would be the most meaningful and honest answer I could give.
How lovely. You want to hear something deranged?
What?
I've never seen the Poet Society.
I'm not surprised. Disrespected Robin Williams for decades, and then you didn't even see his like crowning work.
Yeah, it was one of those things that it escaped my immediate it escaped my, I guess you call it, my immediate field of vision. And yeah, that's kind of what happened. So once that occurred, it just never, I never made up for it.
Fair.
So
as someone who has overlooked many a classic, I can't judge you too much.
I heard it's good, but it's one of those things, I might see it eventually. Maybe I'll watch it tonight. Should I?
Go for it. What the hell? I really should have brought that item when I last saw Ethan Hawke. That's where I'm really sick as a combo hunter. I was so terrified, as if I couldn't have put like painter's tape over the signatures I didn't want him to sign on. I really should have. That should have been my number one item instead of the black phone print. I should have gone for that. I've met him twice.
That's why you didn't do that?
I'm always afraid. No, I'm going to lose it, or he's going to sign over the signature. That's my fear of multi-sign stuff in the wild.
You really are a nut.
Yeah,
I joke about you. I joke about you being a nut, but like this is like, yeah, it's funny.
I could have had it complete. I already have Robert, Sean Leonard, have Robin. I could have had it basically complete, the big three. I mean, I still have time, luckily, but like I've passed up 2 opportunities.
Combo gods, you know what to do. Ethan Hawke, you're done. I know. You notice I haven't answered the question myself
because you don't know.
I do know. I've thought a lot about it. I think the answer for me is the
Mrs. Foley's edible underwear.
It's not signed. Not signed.
True.
It's just there on my shelf. I'm looking at it right now, actually. It is my custom Funko 2-pack of Romeo and Juliet signed by Olivia and Leonard.
Over the poster? Wow.
Yeah, because it's custom made. It's one of a kind. And at the end of the day, it's, even though I've joked about that signing many times and I've talked smack about Olivia many times, there was nothing like it. There will never be anything like it. It was the coolest thing I've ever done pretty much in my life. And one of the coolest things. I've done a couple of other very cool things that I haven't
Meeting
talked about.
Chief J Strongbow
was actually not what I was going for, if you could believe it. But that was just such a cool, like lifelong experience that you could, once in a lifetime thing, we could be like, I cannot believe we did that. I cannot believe there was one modern signing, one modern con appearance of the Romeo and Juliet reunion, and it was us. We did that. It's hard to even put into like the concept that I cannot believe that happened.
I wish I liked that. I wish the property meant as much to me as it did to you, because like a lot of what I get what you're feeling, and I feel it too. Like in terms of just understanding like the significance. Like I don't feel it like in that way. I don't feel it on a visceral level. I just feel it intellectually, and I wish I could feel it in my gut. I really do. It's
I can't explain it really otherwise. It is the coolest thing. One of the coolest things I've ever done. Okay, I'll tell a story. Even though we're so long into the show, but whatever. This will be for the people who actually stick around for the whole thing. I was in like a band when I was younger. It was really with my brother in my early 20s. I wasn't any good, but the only reason why I was in the band was like as a bonding thing with my brother, pretty much. And we played shows locally pretty frequently. And I very early on, I realized that playing shows locally was a money-losing proposition, because around when you're playing shows as a small band, the promoters just rip you off, and they would like make you pay to play and make you sell tickets. And it really is, it's a tough world out there for small bands. And so I started promoting shows myself, because that was a way I could at least play shows and not have to pay. And I would actually make a little money or even break even on playing shows. And there were shows where I made some money, and shows where I was able to book regional, and I never booked any national names, but I certainly booked some regional names, and I made some money on these shows. And in my late teens to early 20s, a band that I really got into was this. They were a one-hit wonder. you probably have never heard of them, but if you're sort of into the alternative rock, punk scene of the late 90s, early 2000s, was the Ataris, right? I was really into that band.
I know them from you.
Yeah, and so there was they had kind of broken up. Well, really, I mean, everything was the singer songwriter kind of did all of the work for the band. And, he had kind of a rotating cast of characters as his backup. And they kind of broke up, and he kind of fell on hard times in the mid to late 2000s. And I remember on 2008, he posted with MySpace, I guess, that he wanted to do a nationwide acoustic tour, and there were certain dates that he needed booked, and one of the dates was New York. And I shot him an email or MySpace, whatever, message, and was like, listen, I book shows on Long Island. Will you do Long Island? I can get the venue that'll fit about 200 people. What's your rate? And I'm not going to reveal. He gave me his rate. His rate was such that I knew I could make a killing on this show, because I was making a killing when it was just us and a couple of local acts. I knew how to price out, and I could fill 200 people in a building. Back then, it wasn't that hard in the mid 2000s. I had a little bit of a promotional machine through MySpace and things. I could pack out a show. When he gave me his rate, I was like, oh my God, I can double the ticket price. I used to charge $10 a ticket. I could charge $20 a ticket, and I could make a fortune on that show. And I did. And I booked him out, and I booked us as the one right underneath him on the bill. I booked some local acts to fill it up and sell tickets. And so I played a show with like my favorite band. How many people can say that?
So you're like the Jeff Jarrett of like Long Island, like music.
For a minute, yeah. But so I actually played a show with my favorite band, and like that is so when I say, I had cool experiences, that's one of them. I can say that without lying at all. I played a show with my favorite band. It was freaking amazing. It was so cool.
Did you get a photo op with them that night?
I did. I mean, I've met him multiple times. I got a photo with him and my band. And I've gotten other photos with him individually since then. And he actually, I had a couple like posters and things, and he had put up a little merch table for him, but I had like posters that I had, and he wrote a really nice message to me on the poster, about thanks for booking him, blah, 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 all this other stuff, which, I had professionally framed at one point somewhere. I think actually in my parents' basement, actually. And then later on, I told the story already, how I bought his gold record for, he had an album that went gold. The record's So Long a Story went gold. I own his gold record. So I was a big fanboy of that band. I was able to play with them. I've had cool stuff happen to me, and there were other things too that have been cool that, I don't need to get into here. I've been very fortunate. The stars seem to align in my life where I have pretty cool experiences. And that Olivia Leonard signing is one of the coolest things I've ever done. It's just hard to explain the feeling of having done that. So I'm forever grateful that I had that experience. And that's a very long-winded way of saying that's why I would keep that Funko Pop, because it was such a cool experience.
I hear you, and the Funko Pop being one of a kind, custom made, I get, but it's also a potentially, and it actually not even potentially, but by the time our lifespan would come and go, whether we're around to see it end or not, Funkos are not going to be popular. The posters forever, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's a custom made thing, one of a kind. She went nuts when she saw it, so she gave me the character name. She refused to do character names almost anything. She's a pain in my ass. I love you, Olivia, but you are a pain in the ass. Not that you're hearing this, but she gave me the character name.
If she did hear it, I think she honestly she'd be fine with that. She would agree.
She would laugh, I think.
Yeah.
She was making jokes. I typed it this way. She was making jokes about how much money we were going to make on her after she died. She was literally making jokes about that during the signing. That's why it makes me laugh.
We made a lot of money with her on her before she died, even.
Yeah, but it makes me laugh when people make jokes about or get mad when you sell stuff when people die. Like she knew that was going on. She knew. That's why she did it. But she did the signing because she needed to get paid, and we paid her. And people like her, very well.
People like her that are all about vanity. That's kind of appealing. That's like the equivalent of like living forever.
100%. She viewed it as a compliment. She said as much. So like that's why it's very hard for me to take these morons seriously. It still is. I'm still kind of like joking about it and laughing about it because like she was sort of one of a kind in that way. She got it, totally got it. That's what was going on. She had no problem with it, whatever. So anyway, back to the point of this thing. That's the item I would keep. And I still, right now it's in a box. I probably should take it out and display it somewhere, but I still, just thinking about it makes me smile. One of a kind item. I'm so grateful. I am eternally grateful that we had that opportunity. Truly. And the more distant I am from it, yeah, we're almost 4 years from that. In 2 months, it'll be 4 years since we did that signing. I can even reflect more on it about what an extraordinary gift and opportunity that was. So freaking cool, man. That's my answer.
It's a good answer.
So what's coming up for us? In 2 weeks, we'll be headed to Chicago. Please come to Portillo's to the Sharpie Social. Are you gonna? I'm not gonna lie because I want to try all the stuff. I think it would be bad for us to like each get a hot dog and each get a steak. Should we split all of these things? I was thinking about this. Should we like split them all in half and so this way we're not spending a fortune and also not eating like goddamn pigs?
Probably, but I have to warn you. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like all the hot dog topping.
So take them off. So you can just scrape it off, right? It's a hot dog.
True. It's
like it's gonna seep into the what was you like? What toppings? What toppings were like?
I don't remember the Portillo menu.
You're preemptively making the assumption that you're not gonna like certain things.
Well, no, I read it and I remember thinking, I don't know if I like that, but I don't remember what the hell I read. Like mustard. I don't eat mustard.
What?
So that's a problem.
You don't eat mustard? That's bizarre. Everyone eats mustard.
I don't.
Why?
I'm not
Have you tried it recently as an adult?
I don't know if I tried it. I'm not a relish fan. I'm looking at it
relish.
Right now.
I don't love sweet pickles, so I'm not a relish fan either.
But beyond that, man, I could survive, I guess.
Maybe you think actually ask them to put mustard on half the hot dog? Would that be unhinged?
Content.
I'm sure they do it. Like, will they object? No, I'm not going to do that.
Wow, Chicago has hot dog rolls with poppy seeds. That's kind of weird.
What you feel? You like poppy seeds?
Sure.
I don't mind a poppy seed.
I like a good poppy seed.
I'm not gonna lie. A poppy seed is not going to be a deal breaker in either direction for me.
Not gonna lie, the chili cheese dog looks pretty good.
But I do think since we're having all these things, we should probably split at least some of them. Maybe you don't have to split the hot dog, but like the beef sandwich or whatever that. What's it called?
Hold on.
It had a snazzy.
I'm looking at it right now.
It had a snazzy title that I forgot.
Apparently, so did their website. Italian beef.
The Italian beef. We don't need to eat. I don't know about you. I don't need to eat the whole thing. We can split that, right?
690 calories. This thing is huge.
Right. So we'll split it. Certain things we can split. This way, we're not completely demolishing ourselves. Because I don't want to go back to the hotel and have horrific diarrhea either.
Especially since this will probably be recording the podcast when we get back to the hotel.
Exactly. Who needs all that? So that's a good idea. Anyway, I don't know. Not everyone. No one really needs to hear all that. But
are we going to force Zach to share with us too?
No. You don't have to do all. I mean, if he wants, we can split certain things. I just don't need I don't need to eat the entire thing. To get a sense of what the taste is. Anyhow, not that was probably not for the air. But anyway, if you want to see us negotiate things like this, come to the Sharpie Social. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to do it in another city. I'm excited for the people who've already RSVP'd for it. I think it's going to be a great time. I truly do.
Same.
I'm very much looking forward to it. We also have Dallas in September. We have not yet picked. Have we picked the restaurant for Dallas? I don't remember. No. It's getting late.
Ira's gonna ask some relative in Dallas if they have barbecue recommendations. So we need
people. Honestly, we need some Dallas locals. Is Burris coming to Dallas? Have we determined that? I think he is, right?
He hasn't confirmed. Burris.
What are you doing?
I don't know if Burris. I'm not sure if Burris even listens.
We've known the guy for how many years?
Yeah.
Right.
I got a
Burris was a marked out OG. He has to get his ass to Dallas.
Burris is apparently a huge man. He's like 6'6" or something. Someone said they met him and he was like really big. So he might be the biggest person ever at a Sharpie Social.
I mean, given the people who've been at the Sharpie Social, that's not too much of a.
Is that a short joke about Linder?
A little bit, yeah. Well, I mean, Ira's a large. Was Ira ever at a Sharpie Social or
not? No. I wonder why.
I mean, I think it didn't work out timing wise. I don't know. Anyway, we have to plan that out for Dallas. We need some Dallas peeps. That'll be a good time, even though the time that we have at Dallas in Dallas is more limited.
And the airline moved our flight up, so we
no. Honestly, so I keep forgetting to tell you they move it back and forth between those two times every day. I get 2 emails a day, so they're clearly continuing to mess around with it. That's folks, don't book Frontier. We're getting what we deserve on that one, but it is what it is. They keep bumping it between 3 and 5 p.m. As long as it leaves at one of those two times, I don't really care.
No, I agree.
I'm gonna have to get home at some point, Although I can more easily take an extra day than you can. That's for sure.
I don't know about that. I could take a day. It's not going to matter.
All right.
There's no vacation there.
Let's put that to the test then.
What's the worst that could happen?
That's true. There you go. Anyway, we still have Keanu Reeves' Simple Plan. I've added another wrinkle to that. I'm actually planning to fly to Montreal the day after that show at 6:00 in the morning. So
this is the least simple plan you could ever have for like a weekend or a pair of days, whatever the hell it is. Not a weekend because it's on a Wednesday, which makes it all even weirder. But
yeah, I mean, well, honestly, the booking of that, I don't understand why both of these bands book New York City shows on a Wednesday night. Well, I do know why, because they can't sell out big venues on a Saturday, so they pick a Wednesday. That's the move. That's what they do. These people. I understand it. I don't like it, but I understand. So it sucks. It sucks for me. Well, I guess it doesn't suck for you in any way. You have actually no qualms with it.
No, I'm just worrying about having to do Keanu and then Chance the Rapper 2 days later, which is next on our list.
So Chance the Rapper is, I guess that's the 21st. All good, and that's it, and that's what we have on the calendar. I'm sure more stuff is going to get added.
Oh, there's a ton. We have. I just have to update it. We have the book signings and all this stuff. New York Comic Con, so much. There.
Yeah, we need to put New York Comic Con on there. Yeah, that's funny.
It'll be updated for next week. Plus, let's not forget, before we wrap this up, we got to put over our song with Livia. Get those orders in. As we just talked about the Vanity Project. We kind of have a pretty decent track record of sort of identifying, pun intended, the talent that's going to go somewhere. There's 1 or 2 names out of all of them that aren't on TV in some capacity right now. They all are.
True.
Yeah,
it's
and the
true.
ones that aren't, like Aaron Roberts, is a stud who I can't imagine.
Actually, I mean, he's so young. They'll find him someday.
Our dud is not a dud. No. I don't think we have a dud yet, as far as things we've collectively done. Me on my own, just throwing money after good prices, I definitely have some duds.
Had we paid Zarya, that would have been a dud.
Her name isn't even Zarya.
What is it?
I don't remember, but it wasn't Zarya.
You sure?
Hold on. It wasn't Zarya.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure of much in life, but I don't think it was Zarya. I don't think it was quite so feminine.
Zara.
There we go.
I was close.
Zara Zucker went running from you. It was a bizarre thing. We were offering her more money than I'm confident in saying any wrestling promoter has ever given her. Our stupidity and our desire to get everybody at the time was leading us to an overpay, and she didn't want it. And if you're out
what's
there,
funny is apparently she remember how she said she was going to retire.
Yeah,
she's back to taking bookings again.
And guess what? No one's offering her the money we were offering her for that signing.
No.
That's for damn sure.
I don't know. That was weird, man. That was a weird one. She headed for Z Hills.
And the funny thing is, we were introduced in person by Sam. Like, when we were lurking behind the building, Sam came up and, hugged us and was catching up. And it wasn't even like we were just these random people. We were introduced by, quote unquote, one of the boys.
Yeah.
Like, what were you nervous of? Like, it made no sense. It was probably a social anxiety more than anything else.
I guess.
But still weird.
She hoodied up and took off.
She went Phil Brooks in the Marriott on us.
Yeah. Very strange. Anyway, I don't know what I'm on there. All right, so that's it. So once again, if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com. Get those Livia pre-orders in right there. You can check out our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles for our stuff that is not, is in stock. To contact us for any reason, or if you have questions about Livia, you want an exceptional personalization, maybe we can get it done for you. Reach out today, markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com, or of course, you can always post on the Marked Out Autograph Collecting community on Facebook. I think we are done. What's great about this, and what no one knows except me, is that before I hit the record button, Dana said, this show should be about an hour and a half based on what's on the list.
Yeah, I was wrong, but
It's longer than last week.
Longer than last week, but I think it's a solid episode. If God forbid the plane is to nosedive into the abyss, I'm comfortable ending my run on this show. It's a pretty good show.
That's a little dark. I hope it doesn't, but I'm also the combo gods. You never know what influence they have over the Abrahamic. So
next week will you be joined by new co-host Little Rat Zach Linder? We will see.
I'm not sure his wife would let him do it full time. I don't know. So I don't know how yours does, to be honest. You have to keep buying American Girl dolls as as a bribe to let this go.
Probably.
Anyway, are we good?
We're good. Let's go.
You got to start packing.
I know. At this point, I'm like 4.5 out from the plane coming, from the Uber coming. The plane's picking me up in the driveway. How's that for
All right. So for markedout.com, Marked Out Collectibles, Marked Out Radio, I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And we will see you next week.